Hello.
Hello. Or shall we say,
Howdy, y'all. Howdy.
We're just setting the tone, you know?
We're really going for it.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Ooh, it feels different being over in this square.
I look the same as I always do.
Wave on over.
All right. Hello, friends, and welcome to GutPunchRP, a tabletop role-playing game stream channel that is focused on inclusivity in gaming spaces as well as charity. And this month, being May, we are currently raising money for St. Jude. If you would like to donate to the cause, you can type !donate into the chat, and that will take you to a link to our ongoing Tiltify event. We are dangerously close to our first milestone, which is $1,000, and when we raise that, we will do an ongoing weekly podcast show where we talk about, you know, tabletop role-playing games and all the other nerdy things that we're into. I almost said a bad word and contributed to the swear jar. I'm sure I will before the night is over. Yeah. Updates on some of the prizes that you can win. The gold and blue dice jail bag of holding things are gone, and we only have 4 of the rainbow ones left. So if you want one, you better jump on that. It's $15 donation, and then make sure that you select that reward when you before you hit the donate. Our overall top donor, and that is across the entire month, will win this blue and gold fighter dice tower. In addition to that, we are also randomly, to any donor who donates $1 or more, will potentially get the Rainbow Kraken dice jail or the patinaed Clockwork Dragon dice jail. In addition to that, we also have a set of dice-bound dice. They're handmade, gorgeous resin dice that are a pretty green and purple. And it comes in this fancy dice-bound bag for you. I believe that is the things. If you do not have the means to donate or contribute to the channel, that is fine. Being here is amazing. Retweeting the go live tweet, sending out the message that we are live really does help. It helps a lot. So yeah, if you can't donate, get your mom to donate, or get my mom to donate. You never know.
That's a challenge.
You never know. It may happen. Also, just so you're aware, we are because we're charity streaming, the money that comes in from things like subscriptions and bits go back into the channel and help contribute to these lovely individuals and all the things that you see on the show, as well as some more things to come. Just gonna hint at that ominously. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. During the entire month of May, on Thursdays, we are doing one-shots as well as one random Sunday or Saturday at the end. And then on Mondays, we have an ongoing D&D campaign. So, hi. I think, is that it? Did I do all the things?
Everything.
I did everything.
I did it speedy too. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, if you stick around at the break, you guys also can all have a chance to win
That's the
something
thing.
completely for free just for supporting us.
Yes, we're also we are sponsored by tabletoploot.com, and we will be giving out a $10 gift certificate. You can also use that in conjunction with the code GutPunchRP on checkout to get yourself a 15% off. Yeah. Cool. I think that covers all the things that I normally say or need to say, so I'm gonna turn it over to Dusty.
Hello, everyone. All right. Let's get this party started. Do we remember how to play D&D? I think we remember how to play D&D. So our story begins in a small, dusty frontier town known as Blackwater. The townsfolk here are mostly ranchers, carving out difficult lives on the edge of the desert, and they share an uneasy truce with a gang of bandits and thieves that call an old church on the edge of town their home. Whether you know him personally or not, all of you, for various reasons, have been invited to a meeting with the bandits' leader, an infamous man known as Vance Graves. The details in the invite were slim, and you know only that it concerns the town itself and a very dangerous job that could be worth a hefty reward, assuming a reward is what you seek. And so you find yourselves in the one and only saloon in Blackwater. It is very nearly noon, the time of your meeting, and you may or may not have a beverage in hand, depending on how early your character likes to start their day. The owner of this lovely establishment is a bronze-toned warforged woman that you can see behind the bar, with very expressive crystalline eyes, and she is assisted by a halfling and a gnome who are scurrying around serving the small number of other patrons that are there aside from yourselves. So I'm going to start by asking you guys what you're doing, what you're up to, and tell me a little bit about your character. I'm just going to go in order, so I'm going to start with Bedoni.
Oh no!
You're first on my screen.
Willow is a half-elf with bright red hair, braided, and surprisingly pale skin considering how bright the sun gets out here. She should be sunburned by now. And she is occupying a table in the corner and coercing Mal into building a house of cards with her.
Fantastic. Let's go with Claire next.
Name's Claire Dawson, and I'm of a fair amount of renown in these parts as well as some other parts. I'm known as a prize fighter, and but I have recently retired and have been helping Amity around with a variety of chores.
Thank you, Claire. Let's do who is next on my screen? Well, Amity, actually. So who is Amity?
All right, I am a gray-skinned tiefling with horns that fade from like graphite to sort of like super dark black with like a shock of black curls, wearing like mismatched clothes that are sort of like other people's best things that have sort of been edited for her. And she is sitting at a table. She'd be nursing a whiskey, sitting with her feet up on a chair moodily.
You hanging out with Claire? Are you like kind of ignoring each other?
I would also be drinking the whiskey or the dark tinted apple juice, if you would.
Just a good quality apple juice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that one. I would probably be sitting at the same table.
Cool. How is Sylvie doing?
Sylvie McKay is also nursing some apple juice of her own, and I think she's maybe sitting a little further away from the others. She's a tall lady, got dark brown hair pulled back into practical ponytail, hat sitting low on her face, keeping her face kind of in shadow. She's just kind of surveying the room, taking everything in, trying to get a vibe on these people that she looking like she's gonna be working with, but she's got a couple firearms strapped to her hips. She looks like she could take you in a fight and she wouldn't hesitate.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least, how is Mal doing?
Mal is sitting in front of Willow, a medium to tall older man with salt and pepper hair. It was probably black a long time ago, but either due to age or stress has been very salt and peppered in his beards to match. Slim shoulders, really slim build in a medical cassock with really worn riding boots and an empty holster at his side, trying desperately to keep this tower of cards in front of him from toppling over, with a very full glass of amber in front of him. Now, Willow, I know I met you very recently, but this technique right here does not seem to be working out. Is there a way to get these to actually stand up? Because I'd rather not gamble on this toppling.
You have to take the 2 cards and you make the apex, and then make sure that's stable, and then you add the top, and then you do it right next to it. But start with the 2.
I can do that. You know, I'm an undertaker. I'm not a surgeon, so I do not have very steady hands. Do you mind helping me out here?
Yep. And she's gonna move over right next to him and like kind of guide the cards so they stop shaking and actually stay stable together, the 2, and then kind of tap the top card over a little bit so it's actually balanced.
What kind
Mouse size.
What kind of tomfoolery are they doing over there?
Mal will turn around and sort of look at her and do a very friendly nod.
Take a swig of my drink. Swish it around.
He turns back to Will and just goes, "Do you know her?"
No, not that one. There is which direction is Claire facing?
Also, I was I'd be facing the door, wherever that is.
A second mug is suddenly right next to your current one. Whether or not you notice or are paying attention. And then Willow is just going to keep paying attention to the House of Cards.
Also, I apologize, I forgot to say this, but Claire is a very tall, blonde woman with her hair pulled back. Looks like maybe she has seen a fight or two, maybe even recently. And looks very also capable and muscular, but the kind of muscles you get from a lot of heavy lifting on a consistent basis.
Yeah, one of our little buddies, the little assistants at the bar, goes scuttling by dangerously close to that card tower. They're very energetic, and they work sort of together, like a pair of raccoons, you know?
Mal would probably acknowledge the raccoon and say, "Dear, is Steve behind the bar in need of any help tonight?"
One of them is like, "Huh? Oh, no, Steep is fine.
All right, thank you, dear."
You let us know if you need anything, Mal.
He just sort of leans over to Willow and goes, "Don't order the food here. But it's getting near noon, ain't it?"
Awfully close. Don't think he'll be late.
Vance is certainly not one to be not on time. You got that contract too, huh?
I got something. Don't know if I call it a contract. More like a show up and do this.
Sort of answered to that without pushing back.
Yeah, well, I liked the alternative. This better than the alternative, really.
You didn't cross him, did you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, well, we'll keep to our cards here. I'll keep you out of trouble.
I'd appreciate that. I'll try to watch your back.
Of course. I guess we should probably, see if anybody else in this bar got that contract too.
Oh.
Or we can
Obviously,
just wait until
hungry.
noon comes around.
Willow's going to casually lean over and see if she catches eyes with Sylvie. Is she, which direction is she looking at?
Also, keeping an eye on the door. Yeah. But kind of like going back from like watching the door and then like watching the room and like keeping her eyes on like everything, but always darting back to the door.
Okay.
Unless anybody else wants to do anything, which you are, of course, welcome to do. It is about this time that you guys become aware of two voices sort of bickering outside the door to the saloon. And those of you who are paying attention to the door see three figures walk in. Two men and a woman. It's the two men who are bickering. The woman is a tall, imposing drow woman in a black duster. She has a chin-length white bob and a very large black hat and sort of small, very dark glasses. And she's just kind of surveying all of you and very much ignoring the two people next to her. The man on the right is a human-looking man in his 50s, dressed in browns and dusty grays. He has salt and pepper hair and a short, well-groomed beard. And the man in the middle, who can only be Vance, is a gray-skinned tiefling with black hair, black horns, and all black eyes that make it very difficult to tell exactly where he's looking. He's also dressed head to toe in black leather and black wool and has two very beautiful pistols on his hips. And as they walk in, you sort of catch the tail end of the man on the right, who is wearing a sheriff's star on his lapel. And he's sort of berating Vance, and he's saying, "Vance, I asked you to take care of this 2 weeks ago." And Vance is kind of like, "Please, Samuel, I have things well in hand. Don't worry about it." And Samuel comes back and he's like, "Well, not as far as I can see. I asked you to deal with it, and things have only gotten worse. Just this morning, Sunrise Ranch lost a dozen head of cattle. I'm gonna have to go out there and take a look, and you haven't done anything." And Vance, this is about when he looks around and sees all of you, and he smiles very slowly, and he says, "If you look around, Samuel, you'll see that we are here for a reason. In fact, this fine group of people are exactly the ones I think will be best suited to deal with your little coyote problem." And these three figures approach all of you. It is very clear that they are the ones you are here to meet. And laying eyes upon you as well, Samuel kind of nods. And those of you that know him, the sheriff, he'll sort of nod in recognition. And at everyone else, he'll look around and say, "I don't think I've had the pleasure. My name is Sheriff Samuel Crane. I sure hope you can help us."
Got it.
Well, I suppose the question then is, what exactly are we helping with?
Well, that's the problem. Some of the locals keep saying that coyotes are killing things. But I've never seen coyotes do this. It's big, it's mighty strange. And he'll pull out a chair and sit down, as do the other two. The woman does not bother introducing herself. She's not particularly friendly in demeanor. But Vance is charming, friendly, and he says, "Well, thank you all for coming. I'm glad you got my invitation." And he'll sort of add in,
Working the reward, so.
"Oh, yes, if money is what you want, I got plenty of it. But details. See, here's the thing. A lot of animals have been turning up dead. A couple people turned up dead. And as far as anyone can tell, there's not a wound on them. But people keep saying they're seeing coyotes running around, but does that sound right to you? Because it doesn't sound right to me." So,
Question, DM. Sorry. Would as like Undertaker, would Mala have seen these bodies?
It's entirely possible.
Would he have any inkling of like any other like mysterious did they have to be taken care of in a way, or were they just like returned to their families?
I think in most of these cases, Mal may have been called out by some of the families. Some of the families may just have buried their own dead and kind of handled it themselves. You, however, may have noticed that the body seemed strangely pale in all of these cases, and yeah, that there were no obvious wounds. On a cursory observation, examination, I should say.
Okay. I guess Mal would sort of get up from the card table and do a polite nod at Willow and then go walk and sit next to Samuel. And just be like, what's your read on the situation? I know you gotta take care of people in the town. Might as well help out, but if there's people dying, I'm not real keen on taking care of things, if you catch my drift.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I've seen a few of them. Most of them just look like dead animals. I'm riding out to Sunrise Ranch today. I'm happy to take you. Any of you want to come. Maybe
All of us are supposed to go?
Well, it's up to you. And Vance sort of interrupts and says, yes, I'm trying to, let's say, make a deal. I'll pay you, or whatever it is you want. And he'll make eye contact with Willow and kind of smile. And he'll say, I just want you to figure out what's going on and resolve it. If people are saying it's coyotes, take care of a couple of coyotes. Maybe they've got rabies or something. But it's entirely possible it has to do with the Badlands. And so, well, the sheriff here says that he doesn't want to take any townsfolk out into the desert, because they might, well, die. So I figure people with a few more skills between them, maybe you'll do all right. And if you don't, well, I'm not out any people, so.
Well, that's awful kind of you, don't you think? God bless you, I know it's never rabies.
Oh, I don't need any blessings from God. My soul is already spoken for.
Mal just rolls his eyes very exaggeratedly and like just one of these.
Vance fully just laughs. Yeah, Samuel also rolls his eyes and shares a glance with Mal, and he's like, listen, it's clearly not coyotes. But then what we do know, things have been happening only at night. No one's ever seen anything during the day. Maybe you can learn something more from a couple of dead cattle. Maybe you can't. But I'm happy to show you the way.
Well, seems like as good a place to start as any.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Oh, Sylvia McKay. Pleased to meet you.
He takes her hand and shakes it very warmly. Have you been in town long? I don't think I've met you around here.
Nope, just here for work.
Okay, well...
And then I'll be right out of your hair. Right quick.
If all of you are gonna get dragged into this, then consider me a protector. I just don't want anybody getting hurt out there.
You don't look like you could protect much, if you don't mind my assertating.
And you are?
Claire Dawson.
It's nice to meet you, Claire. And he puts his hand out to shake yours.
She shakes it, but like kind of grips it a little hard.
He like winces a little and just kind of pulls it back and is like, I can take care of myself, and I'm quite good at making sure that nobody around me is getting hurt. So it's for the good of the town, whether you're passing through or here for a long time.
Hell, if you do die, at least he's an undertaker.
Vance.
That's comforting.
Willow's gonna just put her hands out and clap, and all the cards disappear in a puff of smoke, and she hops out. It's like, well, sounds like fun, and I'm eager to get back out of this town, so shall we?
And who are you?
She's gonna carefully take a step slightly behind
Again?
Al. Willow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Do you all know each other?
So much better than the last time I saw you.
Only in passing.
Oh, bless your heart, you all old friends.
Another step behind
I wouldn't call it friends, but sure, preacher, yeah.
Oh dear, I'm not a preacher anymore, but I am rather practiced at mediating if y'all wanted to talk it through.
All right then, Doc. Sure. Maybe some other time.
I'll look
Job
over.
on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll look over to Amity and be like, "Are you sure we need to take this job?"
I'll just raise an eyebrow and lean forward and be like, well, we don't need to do anything, but I'm taking this job.
Just shut the fuck up. Nope.
What the heck up? Shut the front door.
Got him.
Well, if Claire seems like she's gonna accept her fate, then Vance will just sort of smile and go, well, I'm glad we're all agreed then. You figure it out, you take care of it. I'll give you a little reward. Sound fair?
Fair enough.
Sounds good to me.
Lead the way.
Oh, I'm not going with you. You can
No,
go
of
with the
course not.
sheriff, but I got better things to do. That's why I hire people like you.
Mal looks over at her and just goes, he never does his own dirty work.
Of course not. Should have known.
Oh, not if I can help it.
Mind if I grab a couple of bottles for the road?
Suit yourself.
And I would like to get, if possible, 2 bottles of whiskey or wine. Either way.
Yeah, the bartender, whose name is and owner, whose name is Steep, will easily supply that to you for. Well, how good do you want? How good are you looking for?
One to be decently okay, and one can just be like the leftover swill from the bar.
Let's call it 6 silver.
All right.
So yeah, everyone will kind of wait for. Well, Vance will wait for you to finish with that, unless you have anything else you need to do. Yeah, he'll go. Oh, one more thing. And he snaps. And a small black pseudo-dragon appears out of the air with black scales that flash red in the light. And he says, I'm going to be sending this little lady with you just to keep an eye on things. So you better be polite.
Mal kind of leans over at Willow and just goes, do you think he bites?
Maybe if you're only rude.
She only bites if you have food in your hands and you're stupid enough not to try. And the dragon will like fly over and kind of swoop on you guys.
Mel 100% like does a duck and goes, I'm sorry, little lady.
Imagine just when you duck, you're about the same height as Willow.
Yeah, probably. He's ducked like 1.5 feet.
Her name is Adaranth. And if you guys get up to anything or into too much trouble, I'll know.
Messaging systems aren't working for you. Or is this
so-
your usual messaging system?
It serves a job, serves a purpose.
Well,
I figure part of the job is getting this done yourself.
never assumed that something was gonna come along and help us out. It's all on ours, isn't it?
That's about the shape of it.
All right, let's go see if this dog hunts.
Well, thank you very much. And I do hope you don't die.
No one's dying on my watch, Vance.
Good luck with that. And he'll exchange glances with the drow woman, and they will get up and tip their hats to all of you guys and start heading towards the door. Samuel also gets up, but he's already agreed to be your guide, so he'll wait for everybody to take care of any business they have. And Samuel will say, I'll meet you all outside. Get your horses, get your gear, and we'll head out.
All right.
So I'm guessing everybody brought their horse, given that you knew you were picking up a job. So you can head outside, do anything you want to do.
There are steps outside. You just see like a bunch of purple runes just kind of light up all over her as she hits mage armor as she goes outside.
Are you just like shimmery, like you step into the light, you know, and like the sunlight hits like an awning,
Yeah.
and like you step into the light and you're like purple? That's beautiful.
The mage armor is why she's not sunburned.
Ooh. Ooh. I guess Mal would go get his horse on the side of the building?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a hitching post kind of situation outside the saloon, as there often is. And all your horses are tied up out here.
Like kind of Vance to put my horse over there.
Brink, did you walk here?
No, but I haven't been able to leave since I arrived, so Vance has been taking care of my horse.
How kind of him.
I know, right?
Get yourself into trouble?
Me never.
Again?
I don't know whatever you mean. I was
Oh, of
long
course
gone
not.
when that
Of
bar
course
fight started.
Sure you were.
What bar fight?
Just walk past Willow to her horse.
She's gonna like casually step like 2 steps away from you as you walk past her and then go back to how she was walking.
Mal's gonna hip check her into Claire.
Willow or Sylvie?
Willow.
Oh no. She's gonna bounce off of Claire because I'm assuming Claire's actually sturdy enough to not even.
At the knocking of like hitting, without like even thinking and taking an immediate reaction, you're gonna get decked, or she's gonna attempt, because like it's as soon as the impact, that would be like immediate.
Wasn't sure. Roll an unarmed strike. Like.
So
Can I try and grab her wrist with my tail?
It's a natural 19 plus. So that's a 23.
Yeah, that's gonna hit me. Yeah.
Amity, if you want to try a dex check, you can. But
I mean, I said it out loud, but like I don't know that it's gonna do anything.
They save the squishy.
Worth a shot.
Ooh, that would like almost be good normally. Oh my god, buddy, help out. Okay, a dexterity check. It'll be it's usually very solid 21.
That's pretty good. I think
Well, hey.
I think Claire lands it for sure, but maybe your tail like just catches that sleeve and like softens the blow just a little bit. So let's say it does half damage.
It flicks up and hit Claire in the face.
Ew.
Ladies!
Like, ew.
Do you all know
you
each
did.
other and I'm the only guy here that's just interested in making sure everything goes smoothly?
Only one I ever met is that one.
Sprawled. Willow says, "Yep."
Mal just sighs and like pulls the rosary off his belt and starts counting beads.
What's that you were saying about not being a preacher no more?
Not a priest anymore,
Mhm.
but the Lord works in mysterious ways if you believe in a Lord.
I'm sure he does. All right.
Willow says,
Hopefully in a
talking
way
to
that
her,
means there's less punching.
Crazy. What is he going on about? Like starts talking to her horse while she's getting like the tackle ready. Like,
Is she talking
What are-
to her horse?
It would.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to animals all the time. That's not that weird.
Yeah, but they usually talk back to you.
I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, but that's a good point. Yeah, that maybe she's just been alone for a long time.
Claire, how much did you hit Willow for?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just a light tap, you know.
Yeah.
It's enough to still knock her on the ground, probably.
The energy is there.
Yeah.
You know, you almost got decked. It was real close.
The overreaction to getting hit that then sent the sprawl.
Yeah. The theater punch that just
there
occurred.
we go.
All right.
Sorry, I was gonna.
No, you go, you go.
I was just gonna be like, Mal like takes the like obviously handmade like blanket off of his horse, and like tucks it into a saddlebag, and then like gets up on it. It's like a big mottled, like gray and brown, like real unassuming looking medium-sized horse.
Well, if everybody's mounting up, why don't you tell me your horse's name?
This horse is named Montero.
Oh.
My horse is named Lucky. It's got one bad eye.
I have a donkey, and it's named Buster.
My horse's name is Clover.
Willow's horse's name is Gambit.
Excellent, excellent. We stand 5 horses. Would it really be a cowboy game if we didn't love our horses? So Samuel, you guys probably saw him heading over to the sheriff's office, which is honestly right across the street. And he heads in for just a minute, grabs sort of his hat and his jacket, comes back out and unhitches his horse, which is a large gray mare, which is hitched up outside the sheriff's office. He'll mount up and turn around and kind of walk over to you guys and wait for you to finish your business. And then he'll start leading the way out of town. For those of you who are locals, you know that Sunrise Ranch is a couple miles south of town. It's not too far of a ride, but it's enough time that if there's anything you want to chat about, anything you want to ask Samuel or ask each other, you're welcome to do so. You're going to pass by a couple other ranches on the way, but it's mostly open land.
Hey, Willow.
Willow. Uh-oh. Yes.
What was up with that look between you and what was his name, Vance?
Oh. Well, I sort of invited him to a card game. And, well, the results weren't in his favor, so I've been in town for a bit longer than I'd liked and haven't been able to play cards while I've been here. So lots of card houses.
Did you cheat?
Yes, I cheated. Not my brightest move. But I was pretty convinced I had him. Clearly I did not.
So what, you do this job and then you go on your way?
I do this job, he doesn't kill me, I get my horse, and I can leave town without a lot of people following me. So if I may ask, what happened there?
You should see the other guy.
Oh, I don't think they're standing. I felt the after effect. I believe.
Been told I don't do a good job of controlling my anger.
Ooh. That's good to know. Well, I'm Willow. I am delightful. I will do my best not to anger you.
Charmed, I'm sure. Claire.
How far away is Sylvie from us as we're writing? Are you in earshot?
I think she's probably. I
Front?
think she's probably like closer to the back, like further away from the sheriff.
She's going to, Willow's gonna like turn around and lean back. It's like, I always thought you guys couldn't leave town. Like you were just assigned there, and like when you got to a certain distance away, you like had to stop and you had to go back.
I ain't quite sure what you're talking about.
Okay.
In any case, I ain't assigned nowhere. Not that it's your business.
Oh no, none whatsoever. Just making pleasant chatter.
Mel is looking.
So if I were to get into some trouble, are you gonna join in or are you gonna stop it? Like,
Depends on the trouble.
All right, I think I'm gonna like you better now. We'll get along fabulously.
Just don't take me off and we'll get along just fine.
I'm starting to sense a common thread amongst you guys. How about you, Amity? Can I make you mad?
I would say you've already made me pretty mad, so yeah, you can.
All right. I'm off to a fantastic start.
Well, at least I don't hit you in the face.
I do appreciate that. I really do. I've only got one.
That's wise of you, surprisingly. I'm just gonna spur my little mule on.
I think Samuel kind of he's not necessarily trying to listen in on everybody's conversations, but you are all riding together, and he kind of looks over his shoulder and he's like, quite a group you all are. I'm real interested to see what Vance was thinking with this. In my opinion, he should have just taken care of this himself, but nothing I say gets through to that man anyway.
He don't seem the type to risk his own neck.
No, not generally. Not if he can put someone else's neck on the chopping block.
I really wish he'd stop doing that.
You and me both.
Lord. And Mel just kind of rubs his temples a little bit.
So why do you let him hang around then, Sheriff?
Call it the lesser of evils, I guess. He's not a good man, Vance. But we have a bargain of sorts. He and his leave the town alone, and they defend us when they have to. They take care of things if they need to. And in return, he gets a bar, tax, horses, saddles, guns, all the things he needs. And, sure, they could...
And freedom.
And freedom. True enough. There are a lot of bad things out there, and maybe I made a deal with the devil I knew.
Well,
You're into tight ship. At least certainly I got caught in it.
tight ship, but awful lot of devils around here, don't you think?
Well, it is the Badlands, isn't it? Or very nearly.
Oh, so? Are all y'all gonna have to get along, or am I gonna put you all in a giant t-shirt, do you think?
Please don't. I like to keep my distance. And she's gonna like pad a little bit further away from all three of them.
What's a t-shirt?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Oh, it's,
Is it a
Catholic
shirt with a
thing.
big T on it? Or is it a
Yeah.
shirt you drink tea in?
it's,
Yeah, something
have you ever
fancy
read that
like
one
that.
book? You got a T on your shirt right there? You know. I'm not sure if any of y'all are very read, and not a lot to do other than clean up other people's messes. Anyway, speaking of mess, what exactly, do you think we need to do out here? Are we just looking for animal? Is that all? Or are we, gonna fight amongst ourselves?
Well, I
Either
can't
way.
tell you anything about the second one.
Mal, like, looks at Claire, kind of like, please? Like one of those.
Listen, what you all do amongst yourselves, I don't care as long as you're not doing anything too illegal. As for the first, I'm hoping it's an animal, honestly. But I'm guessing it's something worse. Some kind of creature from out in the deep desert. There's a lot out there that we don't know anything about. That's why people don't settle there, that's why they don't go there. But I'm guessing if Vance collected a bunch of you, and he seems to have faith in your abilities, that might be where we end up.
I don't mean to make you repeat yourself, Sheriff. I, just getting nervous out here, you know.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Do not leave the town often.
No, I've, been here about 8 months. Really haven't left the city limits yet. Just keep getting bodies on the doorstep.
Oh,
Seems
keeping
to
you
be-
busy?
Well, I'd prefer not to be. But I guess it keeps me out of the, you know, waking up, reading a book, going back to bed, sort of doldrums of the day-to-day.
That sounds terrible.
Well, there's worse. And he, like, looks very far, like, off to the horizon.
Are any of you guys any good at tracking animals or
Amity, didn't you
Nice.
say something about animals being your thing?
I mean, I can give it a shot, and I would give it a shot.
this would be a really easy job if, you know, you could just tell them to go away.
I don't think we're gonna find something that'll be told to go away.
Oh,
But if you can talk to coyotes, would you? That's a blessing in itself.
I mean, I have talked to coyotes, but I don't think that's what's gonna be going on here. So if series of high-pitched weird noises. Yeah, no, I would just kind of look at Willow and look back to the sheriff and be like, point the way.
Well, it'll be good to have you along, if that's the case.
Worth a try.
Just about anything is. A lot of these folks, they can't afford to lose this much of their stock. Most of them are living right on the edge as it is. But I'm hoping Sydney and hers will be able to help you all out. And at worst, it'll be a place to start.
Have I met Sydney in town?
It's possible. She doesn't come in too often. Tall, tabaxi woman. Yeah, she and her wife live out here.
No, I don't think we've met. It'll be nice to get to know people on the outskirts, see how we can help.
They're good folks. And he will continue to ride with all of you to Sunrise Ranch, which is owned by Sydney the Tabaxi. And it's a decently sized ranch. It's barbed wire fencing, kind of pretty standard. You guys are riding down a dirt road right now. It's not super big or super well worn, but it runs between two different ranches. And you'll follow it down until eventually you see a small farmhouse on the horizon. That's very simple, very just wooden construction, but well kept and well sort of clean, freshly painted. And he'll ride with you guys up to the front gate where he'll dismount and leave his horse that just kind of stands there. And he'll head up to the front door.
Probably follow suit. Get
Yeah,
off my
follow.
horse.
Mm-hmm.
Lily
Now, like,
very
spends a little-
pointedly waits for everyone else to go forward and then goes like a few steps back.
All right, so let's see. Willa, how about you roll a perception check for me real fast, just because you're hanging back.
Teen.
All right, so just because you take an extra minute, I think maybe you glance over at the house and you see three little faces in an upper story window that are three little tabaxi children who are kind of peering over the windowsill. Little kitten faces just up there kind of watching you guys. It's pretty likely they don't get a big group out here that often like you guys, and they're definitely curious.
Willa's going to like just kind of wave and then like flick her wrist and there's a card and then toss it up into the air and it kind of goes poof and purple smoke.
The children are very excited about this. They're very like, oh.
And then she calls the rest of the group.
And the rest of us see this, like, as we're walking up to the house.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're very focused on that front door, I think it's super reasonable. You can roll a perception check for me too if you want, let's say. Anybody who's kind of just looking over the house, looking over the property.
I feel like Mel would probably look back at Willow because he's probably most familiar with her and like watch the card trick happen and then like turn around like and look up and like wave like excitedly at the kids.
Yeah,
I rolled a 9. I noticed nothing.
you might once if everybody else is waving at the kids and you're kind of like, huh? Like,
What?
Hua? So anybody who feels like they're looking around at the rest of the party, looking over at the house, and you see these kids. But anybody who is focused on Samuel headed up to the door. He knocks on the door, and it's pretty quickly answered by a tabaxi woman, presumably the one that he referred to earlier, who is wearing just a simple sort of prairie dress with a skirt over it. And she's like, Samuel, I'm so glad you've come. Thank you. We weren't sure what to do when we woke up this morning. We moved all the ones that are still alive over into the other field, but, well, we left the bodies out. We haven't gotten rid of them yet, so if you want to take a look. And she kind of pauses, realizing that there are a whole lot more of you than she was really expecting, because she was only expecting the sheriff. And she sort of peers over his shoulder, and he goes, and excuse me, and he takes a step back and he says, yeah, Vance sent all these folks out, and he says they can help, so if you don't mind showing us all around.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Ma'am?
Willa's gonna just rock enthusiastically on her heels and wave.
She'll nod and she'll say, oh, yeah, hi. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Sydney, and yeah, this is my ranch. I'm so glad that Vance is doing something about this, although I can't say I'm not a little surprised.
Awful kind of him, don't you think? But we are here legitimately to help. At least I am, so do everything we can. You got kids.
3 little brats, but we love them.
They seem lovely.
And at this point she'll kind of start untying her apron and hang it next to the door. And the three little kids have disappeared from the upper window, and they've now run down, and they sort of run up between her legs, and they're kind of looking at you guys. And they're mainly looking at Willow because they were very charmed by the magic trick.
Yes.
And they're like, do more.
Oh yeah, she's gonna start doing magic tricks for the cards, except for the magic trick is the card will randomly disappear into a puff of smoke.
I will magically make some balls appear and start juggling them.
The kids are like, oh, they're having a good time. They're having a great time. And Cindy's like, I'm so sorry. They don't see a lot of folks from town.
Quite all right.
Yeah, so one of the little kids kind of is like tugging on her skirt, and the kid is like, Mom, are you gonna tell them about the eyes in the field? And she's like, no, honey, it's fine. That was just a nightmare, and you know it.
I'm gonna crouch in front of that kid. About the what? How's he say?
And Cindy will
Kind
just
of
be
look up at Sydney and be like, it's okay. Like,
she's like,
I don't mind, kind of like.
She's like, don't mind them. They've been having nightmares ever since all this started. And the little one will go, well, no, we all saw it though. There were little red eyes out in the field, a whole bunch of them.
When did you see that?
Last night.
After you went to bed or before?
And they kind of look at each other and they're like, after. And it's like they know that they weren't really supposed to be up, but they definitely were.
Kind of like leaning a little close to me, like, it's all right. I won't tell your mama. It's okay.
And they look at each other and like, yeah, well, Amos saw it, and then he told us all to come to the window, and we are all looking, and there were a whole bunch of red eyes out in the field.
Well, thank you for telling us. We'll see if we can figure out what that was.
I hope you get rid of it. Mama's real worried about the cows.
We're gonna do what we can to help, all right?
And the kid smiles and kind of like hides a little bit behind the mom, but is like still trying to keep an eye on all the circus tricks at the same time. Like,
They'll stand back up. Gonna take a little bit of a step back.
and Cindy just kind of smiles and sighs. And she's like, yeah, I'll take you out there. And she tries to sort of shepherd all of her kittens back in the door. And closes the door behind her. And she'll walk you guys out into the field. It's probably like 5-10 minute walk. It's not that bad.
Okay,
And-
is it like there's like brush like in random spots, or are they like on the edge of like a bunch of brush? Like what's the setup?
It's pretty dry, pretty low plant cover. There are probably a few clumps of kind of bushes and stuff. This is, think Arizona, to be honest. It's very dry, very flat. But there's a bit of vegetation. That being said, there have been cows in here recently. They've probably eaten a lot of the plant life.
Okay, and like checking between, not to like get ahead of everything, but checking between like the kids' window and like anywhere that they can see, is there like an area that's like those bushes are probably what they were talking about?
There are several clumps of bushes within eyesight of their window. Perhaps more importantly, well, you don't necessarily know what room is theirs on the top of the house, but there are windows on the side where you are right now and in the direction that you're headed. So the place where Sydney is taking you is visible from the second floor of the house.
Okay.
And given how flat it is, you can definitely kind of see the mounds of some dead cattle up ahead that you are swiftly approaching.
Okay. I feel like Mal's probably gonna ease off and like slow his gait a little bit, try and stay in the back of the pack.
It will match your speed
Okay.
very pointedly.
Okay. Lockstep with you for rest of the yardage.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to abandon her, but you know, still got the EBGBs.
Oh, I'm just staying away from the people who will punch me.
Oh, fair. You think you're gonna get punched again?
The day's still young, and we got the evening after that.
You know, you're real interesting. There's a lot of layers here, and most of them involved you getting punched.
You know, that's probably the most accurate thing anyone's ever described me with, really.
Mel like laughs like very good-naturedly, and just says, "Well, God bless you," and then sort of keeps walking.
I'm gonna need it.
On the way up to the dead cows, would there be like anything of note to see, like other footprints, you know, birds doing weird stuff, actual coyotes?
How about you? Let's see. What do I want you to roll? Let's go with how about a survival maybe, or an investigation? How about either one?
It's gonna be a real solid 7.
Good zesty 7.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell that there have been animals in this field, presumably cattle.
Yeah, there's some footprints. Much. I don't think it's evidence.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of footprints and a lot of scuffing, and the cattle have eaten a lot of the greenery in this particular field. There are no birds or other animals of note within the vicinity, though.
Me.
And I flip on Eyes of the Grave, actually.
Sure, can you read me Eyes of the Grave?
Sure. I know the location of any undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover and isn't protected from divination.
Sure, okay. You do not perceive any undead at this moment.
Okay. Mal's eyes are white, like solid all the way over, almost like he's gone blind for a minute. Willow, while he's walking next to you, sort of looking around, keeping eyes on the horizon.
I'll like try and make eye contact with him. You right there?
Oh, I'm fine. And he like reaches out and grabs your arm, like to steady himself, because he's clearly like not really walking on the same plane at the moment.
Take the arm and gently guide him forward.
He does not trip on anything somehow.
She does.
Okay. They both stumble.
Yeah.
It's a gopher hole.
She's just really distracted with the eyes.
Sometimes you just don't see a gopher hole.
No. Dang nabbit.
So during this time, Samuel's kind of just talking to Sydney. It's very light chatter. It's like, oh, you know, how's things? How's living out here? The wife, the kids, that kind of stuff. But they'll both head over to the cattle with the rest of you. And as you get closer, you do see there are approximately a dozen cattle on their sides. There's no blood. There's no notable sign of struggle, just at a glance. And City will say, well, here it is. It's the darndest thing. They just keeled over. There's no reason for it as far as we can tell. No, we didn't hear anything. They were all right yesterday.
DM. Now, in all my travels, would I have heard any rumors in other towns like this?
How about you roll me, what do you think? History, maybe?
Sure.
Or
So,
I'm not very smart, folks, but you know.
think about it.
But I am skilled in many things.
You have traveled extensively.
That'd be 11.
Let's see, with an 11. Yeah, you've heard a lot of stories from a lot of places. And you know that some of them are true and some of them aren't. That people who live this far out are pretty superstitious. And that sometimes tales are taller than what they seem. But this doesn't really line up with anything you can think of.
is there a fence closer to the cattle than the other ones? Like, is there a fence in eye range?
Yeah, you're probably, let's say, 30, 40 feet from the nearest, just sort of barbed wire strung between fence posts.
Well, they're all looking at the cattle. Willow will kind of wander towards it, but keeping the eye on the ground, just seeing if there's anything that looks weird or out of place. Like a different footprints, or like if anything was slid.
Sure.
Sylvia's also looking for tracks and that kind of thing, and she'd if you maybe like helping out Willow with this, maybe like probably also wandering off, but like away from the group. But
Well, if everybody's poking around, why don't you all tell me what it is you are doing here? What are you looking for? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're talking to someone. But what are you up to?
Oh, Willow's
So we have
just
tracks.
okay. Yeah.
Tracks. How are Amity, Mal, Claire? What are you up to?
I would be poking at these weird dead cows, I guess. Just, seeing if they felt like normal dead cows.
I'd be checking for like foul play, maybe some kids' shenanigans or something.
I'd probably be with Amity, like, Mel kind of steals himself for a moment and does like a real big deep breath, and then like puts both hands out and starts to like push a cow over to see if it's like, any marks, any like sort of medical knowledge that he has to kind of suss everything out, and sort of nod to Amity for like, I will look at this one if you look at the other one.
Yeah,
All right.
and seeing he was a little grossed out, I would definitely like take out a knife and just.
He like looks away and like swallows real hard, and then sort of like, oh, strong woman at least, and sort of come back and like keep poking around.
All right, everybody roll me an investigation check. Please, I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
Willow's gonna go all the way to the fence, and then depending on how close Sylvie got with or not, she's then gonna like kind of walk the line of the fence just a little bit. Just kind of looking around.
Sounds good.
We are all investigating.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
11.
14.
9.
8.
6.
Whew.
We did great, guys. We're really
Good
killing
team.
it here.
Best
We're good at
detectives.
this.
A particular set of skills.
And my skills don't include this.
Everybody's very good at punching.
Except for
Everything
me.
All right. So yeah, Sydney's just kind of stand there and watch you guys poke and do things to her cattle. So Mal, with your medical background, I think you notice it's that these cattle are strangely pale, which is something that you've noticed in other bodies. But they also seem to have been drained of blood, or that they seem to not be bleeding, especially when Amity cuts one open, which maybe could be consistent with the fact they've been dead for a few hours, but does seem unusual.
Go ahead.
And then those of you over by the fence, you also notice the various cattle tracks, which you've seen before. You also see a number of footprints that look kind of like coyote footprints, more or less.
Looks like cows.
Mal will kind of nod, like, in Willow's direction, and then sort of turn to Amity and, like, reach out and, like, touch the incision. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Dead cow? Dead bloodless? What?
No, there's no blood in these.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything like this before? I usually deal with people, not cows.
I mean, they're not bloodless like that when they're just dropping dead. This is something you'd see if it were like, you know, a cow that was being prepared to be eaten, and this is just out here with no blood. Like it just all evaporated or something.
Evaporated. Interesting.
Yeah, you know.
You're not familiar with this at all.
Definitely not.
What kind of medicine are you familiar with, if you don't mind me asking?
More of herbs and midwifery and things town folk are sort of a little wary of, but we'll find you if they need you.
Oh, well, bless you. Experimental, I'm sure some would call it, but ancient, I'm sure, is better, more apt.
I just raise an eyebrow.
Okay. He kind of... he does a very respectful nod. And then can he look at, like, the... I guess the neck of the cows?
Sure.
Are there any punctures whatsoever?
Are you specifically looking for punctures?
Yes.
Roll me another investigation check.
13.
Before I answer this, does anybody else want to do anything?
Probably wander back over to the others, looking at the cows. It's kind of like standing around, just like, all right. They seem to know what they're doing, sorta.
Yeah.
A little green, like in the face.
You all right there, Doc?
I thought you were an undertaker.
Yeah.
I am now. Never said I'd take to it, though. You can still have the fear of God in you. You seem very brave, however, some of us were not born with that, and it's learned.
Just curious, you know?
The fence line with a stick, kind of just rattling the barbed wire as she's walking.
Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, Cindy and Sammy are both kind of just like standing there with their arms crossed, like, we're gonna stand here and be engaged, but we're not gonna get too close to that. They might even be hanging out with Sylvie. So, Mal, if you are examining these cows for puncture marks, you don't find anything on the neck or head, but you do notice one of them has sort of a strange wound on the back of its leg, like over sort of like where an artery would be. Just very small, like a little sort of V-shaped puncture.
Point this out to Amity, probably.
Have I seen anything like this before?
Amity,
Anything wild that you think you encountered before?
I mean, mostly I do poultices and stuff. This is, out of my, bailiwick?
Amity, how sort of familiar are you with local legend or supernatural creatures, things out of the Badlands, out of the deep desert? You've lived in this area for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, like things that encroached and crossed in, I'd be aware of. I would also know like legends. So there'd be like a familiarity, but I also feel like it'd be one of those things where, like, hearing it from the town folk, I wouldn't put a ton of stock in it. You know, it's like it probably comes from someplace true, but these people are rubes.
If you would like to roll a history for me, you're welcome to do so.
That'll be a 16.
Not bad. So just sort of having lived in this area for a long time, you have heard local legends about things that live out in the desert that live off of blood. So that's maybe a guess. Whether or not you vocalize this, absolutely up to you.
I would pass along that I've heard a legend like this, but you can't put too much stock in all stories you hear.
I think Mao would probably nod and turn back to Sydney and see if... I'm sorry, ma'am, do you know anything about this? Is there a particular horror story that the kids have attached themselves to or anything?
I don't know. I mean, sure, there's a lot of local legends, but nothing like this that I've ever heard. I mean, okay, we've all heard of vampires and stuff, but they aren't real.
Samuel?
He kind of shakes his head and he's like, not the same, to be honest. Nothing like this. It's usually coyotes, other kind of snakes. It's the usual. It's what you think. Sometimes folks go out into the desert and don't come back, but that's about it.
Willow's gonna hop the fence.
Yeah, so Willow, you're sort of investigating further and further afield, aren't you? So I think you are continuing to see these sort of coyote-like or dog-like footprints. And they all seem to be moving as a pack. You can assume it was multiple animals that were moving together.
Is there like an obvious place of entry? Like where they came from, where they went?
So how about you roll me another investigation check too, since you're kind of trying to, or you can do survival if you want, because this is tracking.
Hey, those are the exact same skill, 19.
Oh, that's quite good. So the more you look, and the more you're kind of really focusing on these tracks, at first it seemed like they were kind of random, that it was like sometimes animals just go through the fields, it's not that big a deal. But the more that you are kind of walking around and looking, it starts to seem like there is a pattern. It starts to seem like a group came in and went over to where approximately the cattle are and where everybody else is. And they walked around in that area for a little while, and then they all left together. And they were headed towards what you might know to be what's considered the Badlands or the Deep Desert, and is really a place that the locals don't go, which is to the east.
The east, okay. Sylvie's probably the closest one, since Sylvie was also... Or did Sylvie go back?
She had, like, wandered back towards the others, but probably isn't, like, she's probably, like, still closer to, like, on the side of the fence where they were looking.
Willow will kind of whistle to get her attention and nod over and point. Like, looks like they came and went from this direction, so... we have a place to go, at least.
Yeah, I suppose so.
She takes a step
Well,
away from Sylvie.
Like ducks in to like give information and then ducks out.
Yeah.
Kind of turn and be like, "Think you gonna figure anything else out from that, Doc?"
From this, probably no. Something's definitely going on here. Unfortunately, I'm the believing type. And he kind of steps away from the animal and then goes, I suppose there's nothing more to do than just wait and see if they come back. Is there,
Or follow the tracks that Willow found.
Go that
how
way.
far do you think those go?
Only one way to find out.
They at least go that far.
If y'all would rather follow them, sure. I mean, Sydney, I don't want to make you put any more of your cattle on the line while we try and lay a trap and wait, but...
Do they come back every night, or is this the first big attack, or is it random?
And she'll be like, it's the first for us. A lot of the other ranchers have been reporting similar things. It's really hitting the area hard, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't volunteer any more of our cattle as, well, bait, if you can help it.
Understandable. I'm sorry for the suggestion.
It's quite
And
alright.
besides, if they only just hit your farm now, then who's to say your ranch now? Then who's to say that they would come back here instead of go elsewhere? So
I'd
That's the
rather solve
thing.
this sooner rather than later than sit here and wait for them to come back to this particular ranch.
yeah,
Yeah, there's not been a pattern as far as anyone can tell. It's seemingly random. And there's not a whole lot we can do to protect him. Folks have tried, I don't know, you can't put a couple thousand head of cattle in a barn. They don't fit. And you can't exactly build a stone wall around acres and acres of land either.
Be fair to the animals if you did. If we want to follow tracks, we can follow tracks. I worry about the horses.
I think they'll be fine.
they'll be all right.
Yeah, like we're following this on foot and it's daytime, and I think this would be the time to find whatever is leaving these footprints.
Willow's not pleased at the on foot part. Just very output by that.
Yeah, Cindy will be like, I mean, I'm happy to look after your horses if you need, but things are pretty far apart out here.
Yeah, I don't see any sense in not taking our horses. We may as well.
I'm happy to help in any way I can. If setting a trap is really what you want to do, it's possible, but we can't afford to lose too many more.
All of you would know better than me. My, Claire?
I was gonna say Claire would, if the horses weren't tied up, she'd just whistle for hers. Like, okay, we done discussing. Let's just go.
Yeah, at that, then, yeah, Sylvie's gonna do the same.
Willow's gonna whistle but walk to her horse and then physically grab it.
Mal does not bother whistling. He just walks.
Sydney and Samuel will walk back in the direction of the horses with you guys. Or anybody who's headed that way.
Feel like while we walk back, is there any is there any inkling of like how many families that live out here? Like, would Mal kind of know, like, oh, you know, there's like 6 people on or 6 ranches like on the edge of town in this direction, vaguely?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine Mal would, very likely anybody else who lives in this town, and maybe even the folks who kind of pass through. The ranches are big. This far out, it's pretty easy to acquire a whole lot of land for pretty cheap, and that's honestly why ranchers do it, because they have the space for it. So there are not a ton of people out here, probably 6 to 10 within a pretty decent range. And it's a real small town. It's the kind of stuff people talk about.
Okay. he would go get his horse.
Yeah, so they'll head back over to the farmhouse with you guys. And Sydney is, sort of makes it clear she's not going with you. But she's like, I really appreciate this, all of you. It would help us all sleep a little better at night, I think, if we knew whatever it is got taken care of. Especially the little ones.
Are they watching from the window?
Yeah, they absolutely are.
Willow's doing cart tricks on the back of her horse. Not really participating in the conversation, just distracting the kids.
They're definitely watching.
Mal just sort of looks forward and nods, like kind of, very good-naturedly, like the little wrinkles in the corners of his eyes, and is just like, anything to help any member of the town, of course. Try and keep you out of Vance's business as best as possible.
Well, I hope you're not too far into his business, and that this is as easy a job as he seems to have told you it is.
I'm just here as a protector, promise.
Well, good luck. I'd hate to hear if all you died out there too.
I'd hate to die out here.
Mm-hmm.
I think any of us would.
Doing so, man.
None of y'all are gonna die out here.
Well, here's hoping.
Wouldn't that be better for business for you?
Who,
My
me?
business doesn't quite matter. I have the security that I need. I think that, my services tend to be a little too convenient sometimes to, certain members of the town.
You get paid per body, or is it like a flat fee all year?
My room and board is taken care of. That's the only thing that I need. I have a garden. I can basically feed myself.
You don't
What do you
get
grab?
paid.
I don't ask for money.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You're all like, hey, I want to take care of all these dead bodies. Oh, but no need
Yeah,
to pay me.
Out of the goodness
And
of your
yet
heart,
you
eh?
are squeamish at the sight of a dead cow.
Mm.
All of you are very suspicious of my D&D character, and he is legitimately just a nice man.
Not on our watch.
Suspicion.
Samuel is like chuckling at this point. He's like, listen, that people pass away, unfortunately, pretty regularly in Vance's orbit. Having an undertaker around is convenient to him.
Well, Mal, I am very happy we did not meet under other circumstances.
Too. I'm taking a liking to you. Now, if it's alright with you, if the pot's a little bigger for the rest of y'all, we might as well get on the road.
Well, let's not waste time.
At this point, Samuel will be like, I'm happy to take you as far as the Blackriver, the river, not the town. But I really gotta be heading back. I can't be going on a trip out into the desert tonight. I'm not in any way equipped for that.
Are we equipped for the night? We take care of that?
Presumably, you have like a day's worth of like rations and stuff. Like it's yeah, water. It's like
Okay.
nice out. I wouldn't worry about it. Let's put it that way.
Okay, cool.
You can safely assume you have your gear.
Cool.
DM, where's Amity?
Where is Amity?
Oh, sorry. What the freak is the familiar's name?
Oh, the familiar is Adaranth.
Adaranth. Sorry, A names.
I'm right here.
I'm sorry. I'm just here.
I'm bad at names.
I've been here the whole time.
Are we like trotting forward like
Adaranth has kind of just been unobtrusively circling. Sometimes it'll like land on Samuel's shoulder. They seem to know each other. And he's not overly concerned about it. But it's mostly just kind of doing laps.
Is she staying with us?
I imagine so. This is Samuel. I don't know. She's not mine. She'll do whatever Vance told her to.
Mal would look at her and be like, and point, I guess. I don't know. Trying to communicate with this tiny creature.
The creature will just kind of like go. Whether or not it understood you is kind of nebulous.
We have a person from town. I'm sure it's all right if you don't stick around.
It makes no indication of going anywhere.
I was talking to
Oh, sorry,
sheriff.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Listen, I don't know if Vance will even help you or not, but if you get in a tight spot, tell her about it and... Well, we'll see. I wish I could offer more help. But I gotta make sure these people stay safe.
You got a job to do. It's all right.
I wish they were two of me sometimes.
All these ladies seem intensely capable, though.
That they
Hopefully
do.
I'm not too much of a burden for them.
Here's hoping. And here's hoping they don't need an undertaker.
Like I said, not on my watch.
Unless, of course,
he'll-
you're the dead body. And then in that case...
Well, then it wouldn't be on his watch anymore anyway.
It's true.
Gonna kill an unarmed
That
man.
just sounds like quitting.
You know, my daddy always said that dying was a little like quitting. Stay alive out there.
My daddy
Do our
didn't
best.
say anything.
Rip.
Well, I don't know. I never met the man.
He'll like sort of like tip his hat a little bit, and also say goodbye to Sydney as well, and mount up and start heading back to town the way you came. And Sydney's sort of standing in the door with her kids, like doing a little wave. And I assume you guys are headed off tracking those footprints. This also might be a great place for a break, given the time of night.
Give
All
him the
right.
time of night. Let me do some things over here.
Some things and some stuff.
Yeah.
Things and stuff.
Things and stuff. Let's
And
just-
things.
What's our keyword gonna be? Yeehaw.
That is a
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
I think it's gotta
is.
be.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Yeehaw.
All caps.
Don't write it
Yeah.
yet, chat. Let me
Don't do it yet. you gotta wait for
I
Hold
got
your
it.
horses.
hold
the magic.
Alright, let's get this going. I said don't do it yet.
Hold on.
They're just getting their vibe on. They're getting their yeehaw on. We do love to see it.
Yes, I do. I want to send it to chat. There we go.
There we
Yeehaw.
Ah!
There it is.
Lowercase.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Yes, if you would like a chance to win a $10 gift code to tabletoploot.com that you can use in conjunction with the code GutPunchRP on checkout to get yourself 15% off and get yourself some dice, then enter the word yeehaw into chat in order to be eligible. And then we're going to take a quick break. And after that, I'll roll it or I'll forget, and then Dusty will be like, hey, shouldn't we like roll the thing? And I'll be like, oh yeah, that's that thing we have to do. Anyway,
It's the shit brain cell. We make it happen.
but we will be right back. Howdy, y'all.
Hello.
Howdy.
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 Addie.
Yeehaw.
There we go. My buttons are working again.
Oh, we love to see it.
Alright.
Love to see it. If
Gotta get back into the accent.
It's hard to say it it's hard to say we love to see it in a cowboy accent.
you know,
We
we love
love
to
it.
see
We
it.
You love to see it.
You love to see it.
love to say it. No.
No,
Not trying.
no, that was
That was
not,
terrible.
that
No one
was
look at me.
not
No one
it.
talk to me.
I can't
Why
it doesn't
I-
fit under the hat.
Really, we should have told people to donate every time we said something silly in a cowboy accent because we'd be doing great.
The t-shirt fits. Everyone donate for t-shirt.
That's crazier than mud bugs on a griddle.
There you go.
So, let's see. If you would like an opportunity to get yourself a $10 code for tabletop loot,
Yeah, you do.
.com, then type yeehaw, all lowercase, yeehaw, into
Yeehaw.
the chat. There. And then I'm going to pull it. So, going to do the thing. And I did the thing. Although it's acting like I didn't.
Oh yeah, no, it
Well,
did.
Good, yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice.
It's
Heck
not-
yes.
It's not
Yes.
updating over here. Anyway, yeah.
We're being completely honest and trustworthy over here and not lying at all.
A little fuzz. Yo.
Congrats.
All right. Then hang on one second. Let me...
Oh, is our scroll behind? We have a whole bunch of people like typing yeehaw and a little on the late side.
Oh, yeah.
Oh well, sorry folks. Come back on Monday. You can try to
Yes.
win again. Because we do this every game, basically.
We do. We do the thing. A little
Oh my gosh,
fuzz.
there's a yeehaw emote.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Is that Brian W. Foster?
That's definitely Brian W. Foster, yes.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Do I have that one? Wait. Wait.
This is a
Okay.
very important question. Do
Little
I have
fuzz, I
that?
just sent you your code.
Oh no.
So I did the thing. I'm a responsible adult and whatnot. So there we go.
I'm thinking these emotes are pizza.
They do look like a pizza.
They do.
I was about to be like, okay, let's get back into it. And then I'm like, wait, I'm not running it.
I'm not in the shower.
Well, howdy, partner. Let's get back into it. So you guys, last we left off, had discovered some strange things about these cows. Namely, that they were drained of blood, had a strange puncture wound on the back of one leg, and that there were a number of coyote-like footprints, sort of to and from this scene. And as a group, you've decided to try to track these footprints and see where they're headed, because they are headed east, out into some dangerous territory.
Kind of riding. I feel like Mal would relay to the group the like shape and size of like the little incision and just be like, don't any of y'all think that might have been weird? That folk tales and all that?
Is that something any of us would hear anything about? The drained blood, the puncture?
If you're all riding and chatting, I think it's reasonable that anybody who maybe doesn't pay that much attention to local legends might learn from anyone who does. Depends on how much you think your character, A, listens to local folklore, and B, how much you think they listen or believe in, like, vampiric type creatures that live out here. But you certainly have heard rumors of maybe even dog-like creatures that live out here and supposedly drink blood. But they can't be true, right?
Although like, not have been around
Impossibly.
town long enough to hear anything about local legends, so she is completely oblivious to everything.
Well, every town's got stories about monsters, but like this, they're old wives' tales, stories to keep kids from wandering too far, that sort of thing. Like,
Guess. I mean, in my experience, usually old folk tales and parables and the like are there to teach you a lesson and give you a purpose. Unfortunately, I seem to be the believing type. For better or for worse.
Are usually based in something, right? Otherwise, whoever came up with the story is awfully creative.
Exactly. It's gotta be something.
I'm with Sylvie. These stories are just to keep kids from wandering off too far at night and getting nabbed by whatever kind of animal exists. And every town's got their own story.
But the eyes, you know, those kittens seem like angels. I'm sure they're not getting up into anything that would.
It could have been a weird reflection. Could have been rabbits. Could have been actual coyotes.
Could have been any number of things.
Yeah, maybe it was
I
just
do
like.
think they saw something. I don't think they were making it up, but
But there's
Kids
usually an
also-
explanation.
yeah, they have imaginations. They could have spun that from any number of things.
And carnivore cows here to kill off the competition.
No, it must be bunnies. You know, they ain't cute like everybody else supposes. They got their
they're-
twitchy
Poppy legs and twitchy little noses.
You been in a fight with a rabbit?
Not lately.
God.
Who have you been in a fight with?
A few folks here and there. I don't know if you've heard of me, but I kind of known for fighting.
Never would have guessed.
Are you now?
Well, you know, a little here and there. I used to travel around with a carnival and until I didn't.
Punch the wrong person.
You could say that. I kind of speed up a little.
Like a reasonable, like quickens up a little bit, but keeps a little bit of a distance, and it's just like, well, you want me to patch that up for you?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm good. Besides,
I will, if you change your mind, and if you're staying in town, I live here, so more than welcome to come back. I'll show you around.
Well, thank you, but I'm sure Amity's got me covered, so I'm good.
All right. Well, if you don't believe in the supernatural, don't have any more fights to get into, I'm sure you're more than capable of handling whatever it is that is out here.
Probably.
He, like, gives his horse a little click and lets her get a couple paces ahead. Kind of joins the rest of the crew, hangs out with Willow.
And fan out her cards and offer them the mouth. Say, pick one.
He picks one. In the
Is
middle.
it the two of clover?
Am I supposed to tell you?
Yes.
It's 3 of hearts.
Oh. She fans it again. There's now 5. Pick a card.
Pulls it.
2 of clover.
Queen of spades. Puts it back.
Fans the cards. This is gonna go on for a while, guys.
How
He
good are
picks
you with
another
those
little-
cards?
Depends on what game we're playing.
What game do you like to play?
The one where I win,
Do you always win?
more often than not.
Do
Until
you
I get punched in
always
the face.
cheat?
More often than not, I'd imagine.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes my hand's actually good.
How do you two know each other? And gestures to Sylvie and Willow.
Well, kind of gives Will a look like,
Punch is really good. Not so great at keeping a hold of people, though.
I wasn't the one who started all that. If you recall.
I didn't start it either. I didn't throw the first punch.
No, but you sure did provoke it.
Well, that's not starting it, though. That's just starting a little fun. I got angry.
You always this slippery with your semantics?
I don't think I understand the question. Whatever do you mean?
So that's a yes. That right there. She kind of looks to Claire.
I'm gathering.
Kind of curious why you left town, though. You seemed awfully...
Me?
Yeah, you seemed pretty secure in your spot there when I left.
Things change.
Quickly. Really? For the boring or for the more interesting?
More interesting, I'd say, but, and sometimes that's a good thing.
Well, I gotta say, the lack of jewelry suits you. Let's hope we can get to some fun.
Just kind of shakes her head a little bit.
Move her horse a little bit further away from her in case she gets provoked. Looking about, is there anything like in the sky or like any creatures in the distance? If Willow just kind of casually glances around.
How about everybody who's working on tracking these footprints, which doesn't have to be all of you, but anybody who wants to, roll me a survival.
Willow's probably more goofing than paying attention, so.
That'd be a 22.
Ooh.
All right. Ooh. Skill. There. Oh, that'll be a dirty 20.
Is this perception?
Survival. Wisdom.
Survival. Okay.
I got a 5.
Willow's trying to bug you to pick a card. You are very pointedly ignoring
Not
her.
paying attention. Yeah, rolled a 6.
All right, so for those of you who did super well, which is Sylvie and Claire, I think especially Claire, but the two of you, you're looking at these tracks and you're like, oh yeah, I got this. Like, I know how to do this. And so you are very easily able to follow the tracks of what seems to be a probably 5 or so large canine creatures that are headed east. Seems relatively recent, probably last night, which lines up with everything that you've found so far. So you and your horses and the rest of the party follow these tracks all the way out to... well, it's a pretty big flat kind of section of desert, and you pass the point at which it stops being ranch land and stops being fenced off. And so this is really just wild country. And it's pretty rocky, pretty flat, except for there start to be kind of these deep valleys and like kind of rocky outcroppings, and it's, you can see far, but there are definitely a lot of places where something could hide. You also are starting to approach a sort of black, let's call it a snake, through the landscape. And those of you who have spent any amount of time in this area, which I believe is pretty much all of you, know that this is the river from which the town of Blackriver gets its name. And this river is not water, it is basically a roiling pit of tar that runs through the desert. Very inhospitable environment, no plant life, no birds, no nothing. There's a light steam rising off of it, and these kind of big bubbles like slowly popping. But the tracks are actually leading you towards a very thin crossing kind of these big slabs of broken stone that sit in the river that if you were careful, you and probably your horses could cross at this point, and you can reasonably, especially with those 20 plus, you know that these animals crossed at this point to the other side.
I changed my
Name
mind.
this
My
river.
horse's name is Sir Didymus now.
Have brushes? Have brushes?
Yeah.
Whoever named this river has never seen a river before.
We're still taking the horses across this. Yeah.
Can the horses fit?
Yeah, if you're talking about taking the horses across, which I think it's a wide enough kind of zone that you could, but I think you know your animals, you've ridden on horseback before, you know that you should be careful, that maybe you should get off and lead your horse. Just be careful about it, pretty much. But it's doable.
I'll go first.
We're crossing here?
Sure are.
Well,
I
after
mean, help
you,
leading that horse of yours, are you alright?
I'm alright. Mal, like, gets off his horse and, like, it's okay, boy. And, like, sort of puts the blanket, like, back over him and, like, is babying the hell out of this horse. Like, is, like, very, like, it's okay. And, like, is gonna lead, like, in the rear. Like, is gonna be the last person over.
What everybody rolls me an animal handling.
Oh, ruh.
No.
It's not.
Boy,
It's
oh boy.
also. I promise I'm not going to hurt any any horses.
No horses are harmed you making up this one shot.
A horse or a donkey.
No, that was on the right screen, maybe.
11.
Oh, fuck you.
Dirty 20!
Nice. Oh.
5.
Oh no.
How'd you do, Willow?
Oh, 14.
Okay. I'm treating this one as kind of a group event. So those of you who did rather more poorly, don't stress too much. There are a couple of kind of maybe close calls for those of you who rolled on the low end that you're kind of like, what? You know, kind of like a little bit of a slip. But you all make it across without any issue. And you can see that, especially with those 20s, again, I'm going to kind of let you continue with those. The tracks continue into the desert. And they are headed towards the opening of what looks to be kind of a depression in the landscape with very sharp cliffs on either side, like basically a valley that's cut into the stone. And the sun is starting to go down at this point. Remember, if you will, that early on you were told that most of these incidents happened at night. So it's kind of up to you what you end up wanting to do here.
Is Vance still with us?
Yes.
Okay. And is she, like, lower now that the sun is starting to go down and is, like, closer to us, or is she still, like, pretty high up, pretty far out?
She's been consistently keeping relatively close to you guys. She doesn't seem to get tired or anything.
Down below, and then there's cliffs, and then there's, like, jagged openings and stuff.
Yeah, so there's some kind of rises and falls in the landscape that are pretty craggy, but you guys can tell that the tracks are headed towards a valley, more or less.
As we pass anything that looks kind of like an opening, Willow will do a minor illusion of like a rabbit or other small creature to try and lure whatever is out there.
Sure. So you're just kind of having a rabbit like run across the.
Well, it's stationary, so it's just it pops
gonna
up
sit there?
and sits there, just to see if it can lure anything out that's up there. And
Are you leaving that behind us?
it's more so as we are walking along, if she can see one up ahead. So if there's anything ready to pounce on us, it'll get distracted with that, hopefully. So she's constantly re-upping it every time there's.
Okay.
we're not walking into a valley with walls on the sides right now, are we?
Well, you're headed that way.
Oh, I thought we were in it.
I mean, it is kind of coming down into the land. There's no river at the bottom, so you're not like you're walking in water or anything. But the land is going down, or rather, the cliffs are rising on either side of you.
We're walking into
As you
like
ride.
the perfect spot to just get.
I was about
Murdered.
to say, yeah, as we're approaching, Sylvia's definitely keeping her eyes on like the tops of the cliffs, looking for any people, any creatures, anything like up around the top. Like that's where she's like.
And I see
keep
a
a
bunny,
lookout.
like every so often, appear and reappear.
Yeah, I would send up an animal companion, which is a familiar, as like a hawk. No, an owl. Can I do an owl? Because it's gonna get dark. Yeah, that's what I would do, and have them like circle over the top, seeing us like walk into this like very bad idea right now.
Re-upping mage
What could
armor.
possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? It's just you guys taking a nice evening ride, you know? So you guys are riding along, and you're starting to see more tracks, like the ones that you've seen. It's starting to seem less like you're tracking a single group and more like whatever creatures these are, they hang out around here. It is reasonable for all of you to assume that you're definitely getting close to the place where these creatures spend a lot of time. So all of your caution is certainly warranted. Are you guys trying to be stealthy in any way? Are you riding? Are you walking?
I for one feel like we should maybe dismount. But
It's your
that's just
call.
me.
That
leave
that
horses.
might be wise, yeah. Keep a little quieter.
I mean, like, I don't like being in this valley, and I think that's already a bad idea, but I also don't think we want to be clomping in there.
No, I think you would be right there. Yeah. I'd be inclined to agree.
Suggesting leave the horses here or leading the horses?
I'm still for the horses shouldn't come across the tar pit, but they're already here. But I say we leave them more back here.
I can't leave Montero on his own. I don't want to leave any of the horses.
He'll be fine.
What are we gonna
Nah.
do? Just tie him to a post and leave him?
No, we're not gonna
on
tie him.
these tracks?
I mean, if we take them in there with us, if there are them like some kind of big critters in there, they're likely to die.
Exactly.
He kind of sighs like a little anxiously. You summon a familiar, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's not like a real familiar. The horses will be fine, but they should also be let out of here, perhaps by Buster. He can do it. Lead him.
That didn't get picked up.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Lead him back where?
Across the tar, back to where I live. Is probably where he'd lead him. He would go straight there, but at least across the tar.
Then
we're
we'd
gonna
have
have
to
no way
go all the
getting
way
back.
back on foot, yeah.
Yeah, but the horses wouldn't be dead.
Is there a, if we are going to leave the horses, is there a, like a stone outcropping or some kind of cover where we could leave them?
Yeah, sure. There's, these cliffs kind of have a lot of nooks and crannies, big and small. There's some kind of shriveled, dried trees and stuff. You could certainly find what seemed to be a relatively safe place to leave your horses.
Does this look all right?
Yeah, it's fine. Let's go. Let's just.
I just
Mal-
let Buster keep going.
Okay.
Buster's like, bye.
Bye.
See you when we get home.
Mal, like, kind of anxiously, like, pats his horse, like, twice and just It's very sad to see them go. Like, okay.
Are the horses being led home, or are they hanging out here?
Buster is leaving. Whether or not any of the other horses go with is on the owners of those horses.
Gambit will hang out with Montero.
Yeah.
And Clover also is gonna stick around.
So lucky.
Yeah.
Your horses know to stay in the general area where they've been left. I'm sure you've all trained them to please not run away. The horses will be fine. They are in a nice, safe nook and cranny. And so all of you continue on foot with a great deal of caution, it sounds like.
And a bit of pass without a trick. No.
Ooh.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Wrong. Yes. Yes. We are doing pass without a trace. I looked at a lot of character sheets.
Wait.
So yeah, take that, guys.
Also, as we were
Well, thank you.
kind of abandoning our horses, I would have pulled out a harmonica and had started playing a little bit. And so for the next 10 minutes or so, I'll say that Sylvie, you can add a D8
Ooh.
to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Is that an inspiration die I see right there?
believe that would be a little bit of
All
inspiration.
right. Well, I feel so inspired. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you kindly.
Like music to your ears. Alright, so if everybody's moving stealthily with your pass without a trace, then go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
What does Pass Without a Trace do? Do we get...
It adds 10.
It adds 10. Oh my...
Yes.
Oh my lord.
Pass without a trace is zesty.
It's
Oh,
great.
he.
That's that good stuff.
Stealth?
Yes.
24.
25.
35.
Oh,
I got a natural 20.
nice.
Oh my goodness. 25.
29.
Yeah, you guys are like shadows in this landscape.
Also, just so aware, I would have taken one of the bottles of whiskey, the bad one, and put it in my pack with me.
Cool. You can easily do that. And you guys move without so much as a whisper or a footprint behind you. And you've got the familiars. Adrianth is up ahead, up above your heads, I should say, just kind of keeping an eye on you guys, as she always is. So you guys continue into this valley, and the walls sort of rise very steeply on either side of you, and it looks like this valley was carved by water at some point, even though it's dry now. And so there are these kind of big cool swoops and overhangs, and you can see the layers of the rock, reds and tans and oranges. And it does twist and turn a little bit. You can't always necessarily see super far ahead. And at one point you come around a bend, and I'm gonna have everybody roll a perception check for me.
No.
Well, 20.
Natural 20.
15.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
Ooh.
25 total.
11.
Well, dang.
Well, Amity was like, whatever, adjusting a skirt or something, but everybody easily hears a sort of snarling, howling, like noise up ahead around this turn. So you all have the opportunity to stop. And you have not been noticed because you had some truly phenomenal stealth rolls. So you can kind of peer around this corner, and what you see is the valley sort of opening up into a slightly wider space that is filled with the skeletons of many creatures, some of them large, some of them small. It's pretty spooky, and in between all of these bones are a number of just awful, monstrous-looking, sort of vaguely canine animals that have glowing red eyes, and they're currently working on some leftovers, just sort of pulling the last remnants off of one of these skeletons. But they haven't noticed you yet.
How many feet away would you say this is?
This is approximately 80 to, let's say 80 feet.
Okay. Well, seems like we found those eyes.
I don't think so.
A number of them.
Kind of pulling her. Sylvie's at least pulling her weapons from her holsters, but like holding off, waiting
Now,
for a good shot.
hold on. Is there anything? Assuming that these animals are actively eating something, are there any who are not eating? / are there any that look to be perhaps very pale?
None of them are pale per se. But you do notice that some of the corpses or the other animals, deceased animals in this area, do kind of look similar to the cattle from before, in various states of age. But that they do also kind of seem to have been sucked dry in most cases. They do have some bites taken out of them as well.
And how many of them did you say there were?
So you guys can see right now 4 of them.
Yes. Like 100.
Is there a cave behind them? Did you say? Is that true?
Not really a cave. The valley does kind of close up and continue beyond them. But they're sort of occupying a wider space where the valley opened up a little bit.
Okay. Well, what's the plan here? I'm hanging back, making sure no one gets hurt.
Galleon.
I gotta get a little closer to get a clean shot, but once I can.
Seeing Sylvie readying her weapons, I'm gonna pull into my pack and pull out some brass knuckles and put one on each hand. I definitely need to get in close.
Well, I can certainly hit a couple from this distance.
I could too, if you need me to. Want
How do
to
you
draw
wanna
them
start this?
closer?
Well, I got a couple tricks if we want to try luring them closer too.
I don't think we want to lure them closer. I think we want to take a attack from here to cover the people running in, and then not stop attacking.
I like that plan.
Smart enough to me.
Maybe see how close Claire and I can get without them taking notice, and then
I'll say take notice, start fire off.
Willow, you want to hold on the same creature?
Sounds good to me. Which one do you want to pick?
I don't like picking, but if I had to choose one, that big guy in the back.
Sounds good to me. And
How
fan out her hands.
how big is this room? Like, how far away are these people creeping towards these dogs going to get?
I'm just gonna go ahead and have you guys open up roll 20, actually, because this will make everybody's lives a little bit easier. You can see what you're working with.
Oh boy.
Cactuses.
So I'm gonna switch you all over to the main playing field here. So you should be able to see that very shortly.
Tasty.
So welcome to the boneyard. And before you see 4 rather large chupacabras. But they don't see you yet, so this is just kind of for positioning. I'm more or less just going to give you guys a surprise round.
Okay.
So, do whatever you want. But let's roll initiative. Let's do that.
Okay.
And then you can have your surprise round. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's roll some initiative.
Alright.
I have put little halos on them so that you can tell them apart. They are not glowing in the fiction.
We cannot see the halos.
Really?
Yeah, I cannot see.
Yeah, you have to remember. You have to make them visible to everybody.
It's true. Let's see. Player permissions. There you go. There's one.
Aha.
Ah.
So you guys roll your stuff while I'm just doing a light adjustment. Oops. There we go. Should be 2.
I assume since we've been whispering, that we can say something and not alert the creatures.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys rolled incredibly well on your stealth checks. You can communicate at will.
If I wanted to say a command word, would that still?
Remind me what that does. You mean commanding the creatures?
If I were to say a command word to a magical item to enact magical properties.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. I'm sure you can kind of whisper it.
Willow is going to reach into her boot and pull out a small metallic casing, kind of flick her wrist, and it expands into a step of the python. And
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Dare we say there was a snake in your boot?
there's a snake in my boot.
Snake in my boot.
She will toss it next to her
Incredible.
and summon a giant constrictor snake.
That's
Beautiful. Beautiful content.
Nice.
Thank you. I did not completely change my magical item just to make a joke. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. Truly brings me joy. All right, so let me roll for our little friends here real quick. Then we'll do you guys. Okay, so let's do anybody get above a 20. All right, so 20 to 15.
Oh no.
I think we were surprised.
Ruh-roh. Okay, so let's do 14 to 10.
14.
13.
12.
Amy got 14. Sylvie got, you said 12. And then
yeah.
somebody had 13. That was Claire?
Claire.
Okay. And so let's do 9 to 5.
Nine.
Way to make it room.
So we got a 9 for, that's Willow.
Yeah.
And then a 7 for Mal, correct?
Oh, I need to roll for my snake.
Snake?
Let's have the snake go on your turn, just to make,
Yeah, that works for me.
just for tidiness. And all right, that means that, well, you guys get a surprise round first off. So first in the order is gonna be Amity.
Okay. All right. As Claire starts to move away, I would like grab their arm and say, now don't do anything too foolish, and cast protection from good and evil. And oh my god, spells, thank you. And then move around over to the wall.
Could I get a quick response in?
Go for it.
Not too foolish, but I aim to misbehave.
Huge
Yes.
eye roll as I back away.
Yes!
And then I would just draw my rifle, and then my turn.
Yule. So that puts us at Claire.
All right. I am going to move. Oh, are the squares?
They're 5, yes.
So the little
that's
squares are
like-
5, or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna move as much as I can, and then I would like to hold my action if I could, until Sylvie comes up, and when she does, I'd like to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
All right. Sounds great. So Sylvie is next in the order.
Well, I'm gonna move up just a little bit, just a wee bit, and I am going to pull both of my my pistol and my revolver, and I'm gonna take one shot. We start with one shot at the blue one,
Cool. Sounds good.
and we'll see what happens. This is gonna be with the revolver. So that's gonna be a 19 to hit,
That'll do it.
and nice. Okay. And that will be 12 points of damage
Sweet.
for that. And then second shot. Ooh, 13 to hit.
That will not do it.
Crud. All right, that's okay. And yeah, that's it. Actually, I'm gonna scoot a little bit more this way so I can get a view of more of what all's going on.
Cool. Claire, is that enough of Sylvie's moving up for you to...
Yeah, so it needs to make a wisdom saving throw now.
All right. The blue one? The
Yep.
one nearest you? Okay. Wisdom saving throw. That is going to be a 21, actually. I rolled rather well.
Then it's fine and dandy, and nothing happens.
Yeah, it kind of shakes it off. It got busy. Sorry, it was busy being shot at. So let's see. That's going to put us at Willow.
Willow is going to hold two. Actually, she is going to use her bonus action to hex the gold one. And then
Magnificent.
she will fire off 2 Eldritch Blasts. And the snake is going to move forward about 30 feet and park itself in front of Willow and Mal.
Let me see if I can toss a little token on there for you real quick.
Nice, that would be great.
Let me figure out how to do that. There we go. Let's see.
Can I have the snake hold an action?
Yeah, I mean, it has its own turn, right? So
Yeah.
let's do this. There we go. Let me assign that to you real quick. Let's see, controlled by. Here we go. Roll 20. Great tool, love it. And check you can move that for me real quick.
Let me
I suppose by moving it wherever you need to move it, actually. There we go. Put a little aura on it.
Oh, here he is. Snaky snake.
Nick,
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
there's the snake in my boot.
Yeah,
that made me so happy.
There's a snake in my boat.
I know this goes out to Discord. I think it was Lil Fuzz. I think requested it, and I ran
Thank
with
you.
it 'cause it was glorious.
Love it. Love it.
Alright,
Love a
so-
goof.
The snake will chill there and wait for hold its constrict attack for anything that gets close enough to it to constrict. And Willow will fire to Eldritch Blast
Cool.
at the gold one. So that's going to be 2 separate rolls. Which is a 23
To hit, yeah, that'll do it.
and a 19.
That will also do it.
Yes. So the first one will be a 10. What's its my 10 plus, so 13 for the first hit.
Nice.
And that is a 12 for the second hit.
Very nice. All right. And the snake is holding, which puts us at Mal.
Oh, okay. Seeing Willow fire off that spell, he was holding, so you guys notice him suddenly pull something out of the holster, and it is a completely white bone and mother of pearl inlay firearm, and point it square with a steady hand right at this wolf in gold, and it's gonna fire off a guiding bolt, hopefully. That's 17 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, and it's gonna take math. 21 points of radiant damage, please.
Very nice.
And then I guess he's gonna move to be right next to Claire, possible?
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Yeah, this is Claire, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Gonna move all the way up there.
Sweet. So these critters, which I'll just tell you are chupacabras. They're blood-sucking dog animals that dog-like. They're monsters, but they are responsible for everything that you've been seeing, and they are very surprised. They find themselves very surprised by all of you. But this does put us back into normal order now, so we're gonna start again with Amity.
All right. Well, then I will just 5, 10, 15, 20. Meander that way and take out my rifle. Well, it's already out, and shoot at the one in gold. Wait, let me double check. Yeah. 5. Yes, I will shoot at that one.
I believe Guiding Bolt gives you advantage. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the next hit,
Nice.
on the next hit against that creature.
Well, goodness gracious, bless that, because oh my gosh, why do I even have dice?
Oh no.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be a 12.
With advantage? Alright. So you take aim at this chupacabra, and it feels good, but it kind of whizzes right by its head. It just sort of dodges at the last minute, and it growls loudly at you. But that brings us to Claire.
Alright. I'm gonna just move right on up to this guy. And I'm gonna take pop and take 2 swings at him.
Nice.
Yes.
So that'd be a 22 on the first and a miss on the, like a 14 on the second.
Well, the first one will do it.
Yeah. So that's 6 points of damage.
Yeah, you bonk this critter very squarely in the nose. And it snarls angrily at you. And that's gonna bring us to Sylvie.
Alright, I am going to scoot a little bit this way. And I'm going to looking over, looks like Claire's got that one handled, so I'm gonna take a shot at the green one. The first one. And that is gonna be a 26 to hit.
That'll do it.
Cool. And then second shot will be a 28.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
Dia. It's a 28 hit.
Well, it's garbage damage for the first one at least. So that's 8 points of damage for the first. And then 17 for the second.
Woo, alright. Yeah, you take aim, and you very squarely hit both those shots exactly where you want them. And that's definitely gonna bring us to Willow.
Willow remembered the hex gives disadvantage on attacks, which she totally forgot. So she is going to decide wisdom saving throws for the gold puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she is going to fire off 2 more shots at it. And that is going to be a 23 for the first Eldritch Blast.
That'll do it.
And a 26 for the second one. And
Hell yeah.
when her Eldritch Blast too, she just fans out the cards, grabs one, and blings it, and it's just explodes in purple energy when it hits the puppies.
Very cool, very cool.
I love her.
Ooh, that's not great. The first Eldritch Blast is a 7 damage.
Okie dokie.
And the second one is a, much better. 18 damage.
Very nice.
And the snaky snake will hold another attack as something gets closer. It will constrict it.
Okay. Cool, and that is gonna put us at the Chupacabra's turn, actually, or 2 of them in any case. So this one, the blue one, is engaged with Claire and is gonna go for it. So let's see. It is going to take its first attack, which is a bite attack, and aiming at Claire, it is. Ooh, I rolled a natural 20. This is my first creature attack of the campaign.
Hold on. I have a reaction for this. Can I use Sentinel at Death's Door, which is when a creature I can see within 30 feet suffers a critical hit, I can turn that hit into a normal hit?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay. You no longer have a critical. Sorry, DM.
It is no longer a critical.
Also, are these things aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead?
They are. No.
Cool, great, love it.
And
Great
they're
idea, though.
No, it was fantastic. So not a critical 20. It's going to be. Let me roll some dice.
You don't?
That's gonna be 14 damage.
Ooh, that would have hurt.
Yeah, that would have been a little spicy.
That would be pretty bad.
Oofta.
Oofta, oofta.
Oofda.
And I am also going to have you roll a Constitution saving throw for me.
Oh.
Ooh.
No, no.
Oh, Boise.
$18.
All right. Other than the very spicy bite attack, nothing happens. So it is also going to use its second attack, which is a claw attack. And this one is going to be a measly 12 to hit.
Yeah, seeing it, I just kind of duck out of the way.
Weave. Up and weave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets that good solid bite in, but it kind of goes in for the extra, and you're like, no. No. All right, so it is also going to be this gold one's turn, and it is going to advance on the party here, and then end its turn. So that is going to put us at Mal.
Okay. The one that just bit Claire, he would like to probably try and get a little closer, like not too terribly. And then I guess hit it with another guiding bolt if that's okay.
Sure.
Oh, that's real bad. 10 to hit.
That will not do it, unfortunately,
Okay.
so the shot goes wide.
That's all right. That is all he can do.
All right, so next in the order is going to be the second two Chupacabras. This one is gonna come over here and try to bite that snake, but I believe the snake was holding an action, correct?
It was holding a constrict, so well, dirty 20 hit it.
Yes.
Snake staff OP.
Oh, that is 2d8. It's 14 bludgeoning damage, and the target is now grappled.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
I'm no closer, puppy.
Yeah, that Chupacabra made a real bad choice. It was like, snake? Tasty.
Dinner.
Not tasty.
No.
So then this one is going to move up to Sylvie.
All right.
And it's going to try to bite her, but it has disadvantage because of protection from good and evil. So that's fortunate because I rolled another natural 20. But fortunately on the disadvantage, it only got a 12 to hit.
That misses.
It'll also use its second attack, and that is going to be a 13 to hit.
That also misses.
All right. So this Chupacabra just sprints up to you and really just kind of comes in hard. But fortunately, your buddy gave you some protection, and so the Chupacabra kind of and doesn't quite connect. So that is putting us at the top of the order with Amity.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, well, expletive deleted, and toss my shotgun aside, and go ahead and cast Ice Knife on the wolf in gold. Hey!
Doing this again? Doing this again?
Hey!
Go
But
for
they're
it.
far enough away, I'm learning. Look at me. Yay!
Yes. Excellent. Yes.
Good,
Love it.
good content.
Great move.
Right?
Great move.
Human character development. Okay,
You said the gold one, right?
yes, 21.
21 will do it.
You're just forever
Huzzah.
doomed to get hit with ice knife. It's you.
It's me. Doesn't matter what character I'm playing. Yes.
Ooh.
That'll do it.
Mess it
So
up.
that'll be 3 for the piercing damage, and then they have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
15.
They rolled. It's a 27. I rolled a natural 20. These dice need to maybe not put in jail, whatever the opposite of jail is. Jail against players.
Like them in jail. Please,
Yeah.
what's the jail?
That's okay, that's fine.
I'm telling you, these warlock dice, man. And then I assume the other one? Does the shatter affect? Do I need to?
It would hit the red one.
Okay. Is that also a dexterity
It's
save?
the 15 as well.
Okay. This one failed rather badly.
Okay. It'll then take 7 points of cold damage.
All right. It yelps and for sure takes that damage. So let's see. Is that
Scoot a little.
do you have anything else you want to do during your turn?
I'm gonna scoot a little this way, and that'll be my turn.
All right. So Claire, how you doing? Actually, it's the beginning of your turn. So this wounded animal makes a snarling noise at you, and you become aware of a just atrocious, very poisonous stench coming off of it. I am gonna have you roll a Constitution saving throw.
17.
But you power through it. It's not fun, but nothing happens. You're kind of like, ugh, but you're all good. So go ahead and take your turn.
All right. I start kind of whispering this discordant melody, and it should make a wisdom saving throw.
Wait.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, never mind.
I think it was the gold one that had to
It was the gold one. Thank you.
Yeah, no, the blue one.
Oh, you might get away with this. You said wisdom. Let's see. It only rolled a 9.
All right. So I'm casting Dissonant Whispers at 3rd level. So it's going to take 5d6 of psychic damage.
Woo.
So that's 18 points of psychic damage.
Very nice. Very nice.
And it is what was it? It must immediately use its reaction to move 10 feet away from me,
Okay.
and I get an attack of opportunity.
Yes, you do. So it's gonna move over here.
17 to hit.
There we go. 17 will hit.
9 points of bludgeoning.
Very nice. Very nice. Does it have to continue doing that on its next turn, or is that the only reaction it is forced to use?
It just has to use its reaction to move away from me.
Okay. Cool. Is that all you got? Or are you
That's
doing
all.
anything else?
As a bonus action, I will play a little inspiring tune to say Malcolm.
What am I getting?
You get a D8 to any ability check, attack, or damage, or saving throw. Or
my
you can use
God.
that to lower the AC of your enemy.
Oh,
Because I'm special bard.
well, thank you, ma'am.
Spicy bird.
Spicy
Very
bard.
spicy.
And that's
All right. All right. That's gonna bring us to Sylvie.
Right, I am gonna start off by. You know what? I am right up close, but I'm just gonna go for it anyways. This thing is within like 5. Is it within 5 feet of me?
Oh.
Like it looks like it.
Right, you are, which does mean this one also
Oh,
smelling real bad. It is
Okay.
emitting an unfortunate stench, and I'm gonna have you roll a
Okay.
Constitution saving throw.
All right. That is gonna be a 16.
All right, it doesn't smell great, but you power through it.
Okay, cool. And then we're just gonna go ahead and fire off some shots. Start with first one is first one's a natural one with the disadvantage for being up close.
Oh, yeah. I mean, your shot just goes super, super wide. I'm not gonna punish you for that one.
Okay. Second shot.
Shot.
That's better. That's more like it. Okay, that's gonna be a 29 to hit.
Okay.
And 12 points of damage.
Yeah, I mean that first one, you're kind of like, oh crap, you know, like you're just like, oh, it's so like this horrible thing is in my face, and then you get it together, and just get that thing right in the face. How many damage? Excuse me.
12.
Thank you.
Still up?
Still up.
Great. I'm gonna take an action surge.
Cool. The red one looks probably the best of any of them right now. So.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, we'll take at least the next one at the red one again. It's right on top of me. For God's sake. 17 to hit.
I'll do it.
Okay. And 15 points of damage.
Cool.
And then my last shot. It's a disadvantage. And I
Yeah.
rolled a 19 and a 20. But it's disadvantage.
That's too bad.
It's a 19,
hit.
so 29 to hit. But
It'll hit.
It'll
I
hit.
feel like the anti-meme.
That's gonna be 14 points of damage.
All right. This fighter is not messing around.
No, I ain't. Action surge.
Sweet.
And now I'm done.
Okay. Willow, how you doing?
Willow's doing fantastic. Is this a...
Yeah, it's your turn. I'm sorry.
She's going to move this way, and she will fire off 2 Eldritch Blasts at the gold puppy still.
Okay.
Okay, so will a 12 hit?
It will not.
Will a natural 20 hit?
I should hope so.
All right.
Unless there are natural 20s like we usually do on the channel.
Perfect, thank you. Does Hex count for full die, or is it only the rolled one for the attack for the Eldritch Blast? I don't know if we count Hex.
I believe I
Oh,
believe
dice you
Hex,
roll,
all
isn't it?
yeah, I believe Hex adds to.
Okay.
Wait, no, what are you asking?
Hex. Does Hex count in the critical? So I would get. Do I
Yes.
double Hex as well? Okay.
No, you don't. You
Don't
don't double additives. You only double the dice themselves. Yeah.
So no Hex.
But you roll a die for Hex, don't you?
Don't double hex.
Just don't double the hex.
Okay.
Single hex.
One heck. One heck.
One heck. Oh my god, in the
Singular
cowboy
heck.
universe, is the spell just heck?
Heck.
That is 24. Is Gold Puppy still up?
Let me do just a little bit of math. Barely. Truly, just barely.
I would like to push it back 10 feet then, please.
Okay. We can absolutely do that. Here we go.
And Snaky Snake will like to bite the creature it is constricting.
Alright.
I think the snake's name is Snaky.
The snake's name is Slinky.
Slinky.
Oh,
Oh no!
Yes!
You're right.
Oh no!
Willie, 15 hit?
15 will hit.
Yes. Is 12 points of piercing damage.
Very nice. All right. So after that, two of these little buddies it is their turn. So this one, Claire, it can approach you now, right?
Yes.
Or is this a continuing effect?
Nope,
Okay.
It can approach me.
All right. It's approaching you to better attack you. And it is going to do a bite attack. So that is going to be an 18 to hit.
That'll hit.
All right. And that will be 12 damage. And I am also going to have you do another Constitution saving throw.
Six.
Okay, so on a failed save, you're going to lose a few extra hit points due to blood loss. Because these critters have pretty nasty saliva. So that is going to be an additional... I rolled a little high, I'm sorry. 14.
An additional 14.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm down.
Oh, shoot. All right.
Oh, man.
Oh, no!
Okay, hold on. All right. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm not stopping things. I'm just doing the I'm a cleric panic.
Right. Fortunately, you have a cleric. Yeah, so this one is going to... I mean, it's the closest to Malcolm, so it's going to come over and use its scratch attack on Malcolm. That's going to be a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. That's going to be 14 damage.
All right. I take it.
And that puts the gold one that is just limping along. And it's gonna come over here and come for Sylvie. It's gonna use that first bite attack. It does have disadvantage. So that's gonna be a 13 to hit, which I'm guessing doesn't. And then it's gonna use that second one, and that's gonna be, I'm sure I'm not gonna roll lower than that. You got very lucky there because I rolled a 3 and a 20. So the second one is 10 to hit, which also does not hit. So just scratch and bite, and you're still just fending off these little demon dogs one at a time. And next in the order is Mal.
All right. So I would like to please take a knee in front of Claire and do a healing word at 3rd level. And I would like to channel divinity for Circle of Mortality. So that means that I get the maximum number on the dice instead of rolling. So that would be 3d4. So 12 points, I think. Is that it? Is that how you do math?
Yes,
You
that
get
seems
12
correct.
points, 12 points of HP, please.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. He will help you to your feet. And then I think that's all I can do. I don't think that I have a bonus.
I should have done this moments before at the beginning of your turn. However, I'm going to do it now. You do also have to roll a Constitution saving throw for me because you are within 5 feet of that.
Okay.
Chupacabra.
Can I add, before I roll this, can I add Bardic Inspiration after the roll?
I believe it's after the roll and before you know the result.
Okay. And what am I con save?
Yes.
Okay. 18.
Okay.
Cool. Cool.
Smells real bad.
Cool.
Smells real bad.
Smells awful. Smells real bad. Friend up. Okay, we're good. Whee-hoo-hoo.
Brass Knuckles live to fight another day. And that's gonna bring us to the other two. So this red one is gonna take a bite and a swipe at Sylvie. And that is going to be 23 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
So that bite is gonna be a 15 damage, and roll a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay. Ah. Oh no. Oh no. Well. Hold on. What is it? Ah, no, that's not what I want. Where'd it go? 14.
Unfortunately, not quite enough. So you're gonna take a little bit of.
Close, but that's okay.
Yeah. So you're gonna take a little bit extra due to blood loss. That's gonna be 10 extra points of damage.
Okay.
And then the swipe attack is gonna be a 17 to hit.
That just hits.
Whew. Okay. And this one is gonna be math. That's gonna be 10 damage.
Okay.
And so the next up will be the green one. It is gonna try to bite the constrictor snake. Actually, it'll use both of its attacks on the constrictor snake. So that's gonna be 23 to hit, which I believe does.
Yes.
Yeah, I have the constrictor snake open. So that's gonna be 15 damage. How's that snake doing?
Snake's doing good.
All right, and then it'll use its claw attack, and that is going to be a 13 to hit. Which
Yes. That hits.
just barely. This chupacabra's, clawing at the constrictor snake. They're rolling around on the ground.
Leave me alone.
Poor Slinky's doing its best. It's trying to do you a solid here. That's gonna be 14 damage, additional damage.
Still up.
And sorry?
Still up.
All right. And that is the end of the chupacabra's turn. So we're back with Amity.
All right. Well, seeing that the yellow one has just been getting its entire self beaten and is like hanging on by a thread, I am going to point at it and cast Chill Touch and yell, "Stay down." And probably miss. 14.
14 does not quite hit.
Oh.
Cool, that's great, that's perfect, I love it. And then I'm just gonna, take a few steps forward since I'm not doing anything at all back here. I'll go this way. Cool, alright, that's my turn. That's my whole turn.
All right, that brings us to Claire.
All right, so I'm gonna
Back up and ready to rumble.
I'm back up thanks to Malcolm, and I'm gonna spit on the ground, wipe some of the blood from that bite across my hands, and I'm gonna cast Bane at 2nd level, and I need them all to make me a charisma saving throw.
Ooh, all right.
Nice.
They're predictably not super charismatic. All right, I'm gonna need to write these down. We got a 9. We got a 2. We got a 17, and we got a 12.
17 is the only one that saves. All the rest
Okay.
of them have to remove a D4 from their attack and their any saving throws.
For how long? For the next...
until I drop concentration on the spell.
Oh, okay.
Or
A minute.
A minute. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good to me. I'm gonna place my D4 where I will remember it. Is that all you got?
Yeah. Oh no. Bonus action. I'm gonna inspire Sylvie.
Thank you.
Cool, cool,
Thank
cool,
you
cool.
kindly.
And it is gonna be Sylvie next in the order.
All right, well, first of all, I am gonna go ahead and take a step back. Just a little bit of a step back, so I'm still close to the blue one, but
Are you?
out of range of-
They will get an opportunity attack.
I know.
All right.
I
All
know.
right.
Yep.
If you're cool with that.
Yep.
So for one of them, that's gonna be
Taking a chance.
a 19 to hit,
That hits.
and the other, fortunately, only got a 10.
Okay, that misses.
So the one that got the hit, it's going to 14 damage.
Okay. Okay. All right, so then first, for my bonus action, I'm gonna use a second wind. Heal myself up a little bit.
Art move.
How you looking?
Perfect.
And not good. I'm not looking that good. But it's a decent roll, so that's okay. That helps. Heal myself up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm gonna take my shots. And for my first one, I'm gonna go ahead and spend a grit point to make a Deadeye shot to give myself some advantage.
Ooh.
Did I?
And good thing I did. Alright, that's gonna be a 21 to hit.
That'll do it.
Excellent. That will be 12 points of damage against the red one.
Against the
That I've
red
been
one.
Going
All
at.
right. Perfection.
And then second shot. No Deadeye this time. That will be a 19 to hit.
That'll do it.
Also against the, well, no, this time against the yellow.
Sounds good.
And that will be 14 points of damage.
This yellow one was not looking good to begin with. So you definitely take care of this thing. How do you want to do this?
Right between the eyes.
Yes.
A classic move. A classic move. It's growling, it's snarling, it's like getting ready for its next move, and you just nail it right in there, right in the middle, and it just keels over.
She'll kind of do like
Very cool. Very
classic.
cool. So that's this gold one. Oh.
While she is bleeding profusely.
She'll get over it. It's just a flesh wound,
fine,
right?
it's
It's
fine.
just a flesh wound.
Fine.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right. That is gonna bring us to, let's see, the gold one is dead, so it can't take its turn. And it's gonna be the blue one now, and it's gonna take a bite attack at Mao, who it is currently engaged with. And that is going to be a 23 to hit.
That does hit.
It's going to be 14 damage.
Okay. You're fine. Go ahead.
I am going to have you make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. I have been forgetting that I have a feature and it's not good. 12.
That does not do it, unfortunately. So you are
Okay.
going to lose some blood. This is going to be 10 points.
Ooh. Love that. Okay. Okay. Okay.
You looking
Cool.
well?
Are
I
you
have
looking?
one hit point. I have one hit point, guys.
Oh no.
Good. It's fine.
Woo, physician, heal thyself.
They know not what they do.
Oh god.
Cool. Is that it? Is that all you
That's
got for
it.
me? Okay.
That's all I got for you. And so that's gonna, let's see, that's it. And that's gonna be Mouse turn.
All right. I would like to cast a mass healing word at 3rd level, please.
Sounds great.
Okay. So everyone in the party that I can see within 60 feet, so everyone, is
Includes
going
Linky?
to take. I can also heal the snake if the GM will let me heal the snake.
Heal the snake.
Yay!
All right. Cool. So everybody. Oh god, that's not good. Everybody takes freaking 3 points of healing. Great.
Listen, the
I'll
number
take
of,
it.
the number
I'll
of
take
times
that.
I've been healed for 2 or 3 points and then didn't go down because of it,
Mhm.
Right?
I gotta say.
3 points of that. I would like to. If I move, it's gonna get an attack of opportunity, isn't it?
Yes.
I will stay put in defiance of the Lord and continue, please. Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Oh no! I'll use my free action to be like, please get this thing off of me.
Lord help me.
No.
Yeah, all right. So it's gonna be the red one's gonna chase down Sylvie over here.
All
Heal the snake.
Yeah, you healed the snake.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I'm sorry.
I'm not keeping track of the snake's hit points, but
Okay.
Is Willow before Mal?
oh, you're right. I skipped you. I'm so sorry. Please go now.
Sorry.
No, thank you for pointing it out. Let me move this doggo
Oh.
back. There we go.
Bye-bye, doggo.
Doing a die.
Just a little backup.
Doing a panic.
Don't
Get a little
worry, I
wiggle
got you.
backwards.
All right, yeah, she's going to move her hex to the blue one. Since
Okay.
target went away. And she is going to do 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Sweet.
So that is a dirty 20 and a 15.
Those will both do it.
Sweet. Very good. 13, 23, 24, 25, plus 29, 33 damage, and it goes back 20 feet.
All right. That's very spicy. Okay, 20 feet.
Yes.
Let me get my little measuring stick out. There we go.
And Slinky would like to bite the one that it is grappling.
Go ahead, Slinky.
Come on, Slinky. That is not going to do anything with a 1. It's hurting.
All right. Well, it's had a bad day. A bad snake day. All right. So now that brings us to the chupacabras. And so this one's gonna come up and harass Sylvie a little bit. That first one is gonna be a 16 to hit.
That misses.
Oh, all right. And the second one is going to be a 13 to hit, which I assume also misses.
Also misses.
So, fortunately for you, you're doing great. So this one is going to try to bite and scratch the snake. So that first one is going to be a 9, which I do not believe hits, actually.
Misses!
And the second one is going to be a 21.
Hits.
Which is going to be 13 damage.
Okay.
And that's that one's turn. So we are back to the top of the order with Amity.
Okay, I am just gonna continue my super successful campaign that I've been on. And scoot a few feet down. And no, I'm not even gonna scoot. I'm not gonna scoot. I'm just gonna go ahead and once again try a good old-fashioned chill touch on this little blue dude down here.
All right.
24.
That'll definitely do it.
Hey.
Finally! And that'll be 5 whole entire points of damage.
Every little bit.
Yeah, you know what? Really making a comeback.
You're doing great.
Yeah, and then I'll just stay where I am and end my turn.
Did you roll
All right.
2d8 for that? Because we're over 5th level.
Yeah, it was a 1 and a 4.
Oh,
no!
Ouch.
F.
Sorry, I was looking to see what else it did because I knew it had a second bit, and I saw that add-on at the end.
And then you just came over here to rub it in.
Well, I may have been. One of my things.
Is
No,
it time to little punching? A little bit of punching?
Fight.
Oh,
A little
party fight?
little punch.
I've been punched once by a party member again. Don't do it.
Little punch. So that's gonna bring us to Claire.
Speaking of punching, I'm gonna rush up to this guy, and again, I am going to cast Dissonant Whispers at 3rd level, so I need it to make me a Wisdom saving throw.
All right.
Oh, I forgot. This one's also got the disadvantage with the
Yes.
original one. I did say wisdom, so it would still be wisdom.
Yes.
since I called
And
it
if
one.
it's one
Okay.
of the ones, it needs to subtract a
Mhm.
d4.
Yeah, this thing's got a lot going on. It rolled a 0.
Oh.
Oh, little buddy. No.
Bless his
bud.
heart.
Oh, bless his heart.
Oh, bless his heart.
That's 15 points of psychic damage, and if it's up, it needs to move away from me.
It's up, but it's not feeling good.
And I'm gonna punch at it
There we
as
go.
it tries to get away from
All
me.
right, let's do it.
Just kidding. Okay, you can just like actually roll in the thing. I'm getting antsy. It's an 18 to hit.
That'll do it.
That is not the right dice there. That is a math. Wow, that is 6 points of bludgeoning.
Very nice, very nice. It's not looking hot. It's not looking so hot. So next in the order is Sylvie.
All right, we're back in this situation. All right, we're gonna go ahead and. Oh, do I have to roll for being next to it again?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Constitution saving throw, please.
Let's go. 23.
It still smells bad.
Cool. All right. And then, all right, so first shot is gonna be a dirty 20.
That'll do it.
All against the red beastie. And then that'll be 14 points of damage for the first shot.
Very nice, very nice.
And then for the second, that'll be an 18 to hit.
That'll do it.
And another 14 points of damage.
Very nice.
And that'll be it for me.
All right, that brings us to Willow.
Hey. She will fire off 2 Eldritch Blasts. 1 at the blue, 1 at the red.
Sounds good.
Really hoping that the hex in the first blast will take. I'll roll the first one for the blue.
Okay.
Will a 24 hit it?
I should hope so.
All right. And then I'm gonna roll for the second one. Ooh, no. Will a 13 hit?
It does not.
Okay. So I'm gonna go for the blue puppy.
I fear what the puppies of this species are like.
Yeah.
Fear.
Will 10 points.
10 points of damage on the blue one you said?
Yes.
That one's toast. How would you like to execute this move?
A card is just gonna land at its feet, and I just want to like kind of look at it like WTF mate, and then boom.
Nice. All right, the blue one is off the board.
Played. Well played.
The hex to the red one,
Okay.
and the snake's reach is 10 feet. Could it hit the red one?
I'm gonna say because it's constricting and it most likely has its body wrapped all the way around this other animal that it probably can't strike a full 10 feet.
All right, so I will have this Blinky attack the green one with a 22.
That'll do it.
So 2d. Twelve damage to the green one.
Sounds good. Is that the end of your turn?
That's the end of my turn.
All right, sounds good. So the next in the order is Mal.
Okay. May I? Hold on. Yeah. I'm movable, right? I can move.
Yes.
Okay,
You are not currently engaged in melee.
The panic. I would like to get within. Is it possible to get within 5 feet of both of these? Is that 5 feet?
I
Or is
think.
that 5 feet?
Well, you can move past a willing person, so I think that you could kind of sneak. Yeah, you can sneak in the middle.
there. Okay.
That's fine.
I would like him to touch the sand in front of him, and utter a divine word, and have both of these make Constitution saving throws.
All right.
For, word of radiance.
You get to
And
pick your targets.
I get to pick both of the wolves.
Okay.
I can pick any creatures I can see, which is dope.
Just making sure Slinky's not in the melee.
No, I can pick any creatures I can
That's
see.
amazing.
Yes.
That's quite nice. Yeah.
Yes. So with Bardic Inspiration, can I add this to the con save that they have to make, or subtract it from the con save that they have to make?
I don't know actually,
Let me check.
because I think it's for one roll. So I don't know. I don't know if you could apply it to both of them. Let me do a little Google.
Add it. I assume you can't add it to damage.
You can add it to damage.
Okay.
Because I have
I
the
would-
combat inspiration.
I would either make the save higher, or make one of their rolls worse. I will accept either outcome. I just don't know.
I think it needs to apply to a roll.
Okay. How about I apply it against? Should I pick the creature?
Yes.
I will apply it against the red one's roll. So it's
Against-
gonna subtract a 6 to whatever it rolls, but it has to beat a 13. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm subtracting
6.
the bard thing, right?
The bard thing.
The D4.
Yeah, I thought it was a D
For Bane.
8.
Hey, that's the
For Bane, it's the Bane
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, you'd subtract the D4.
So it's a D4 and a D8? Or no?
A D4 and a 6.
Technically,
Because
you
I
can't,
rolled a D8.
you
Roll a
can't use the
D6.
bardic inspiration to detract from a saving throw. It can add to
okay.
a player's saving throw, or it can add to the damage or attack.
Okay, that's fine. I will add
That
it
makes
to
more
damage.
sense.
Ignore me.
What save is this?
Yeah,
But yes,
so just
the
add it to the
D4.
damage. The D4 gets subtracted. So it rolled a math 22.
Oh, that definitely saves.
And the green one rolls a natural 1.
Oh, okay.
Ah!
R.I.P. buddy.
So that one is going to take 10 points of radiant damage.
Magnificent.
The green one.
The green one.
Nice.
That is all I can do.
Well, you didn't roll a damage roll for the red one at all. And Bardic
it
Inspiration, I
saves.
believe.
I can't.
Well, I know, but so generally with Bardic Inspiration, you can wait until after you roll your d20, see the number, and then decide if you want to use the inspiration before you know the outcome of the roll.
I'm not rolling a d20.
But if you... Sorry, not the d20, but the rolls. If you want to apply it to the damage for the green one, I'll
Sure.
allow it. Let's
Okay,
put it
yeah,
that way.
I'll apply it to the damage. Roll the 2, so it's taken 2.
Okay.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
It's still more than it was.
Yeah.
Thanks. Modifiers are hard.
So, okay, that was Mal's turn. Now these two chupacabras are gonna party a little bit. This one is still engaged with Sylvie, and it's gonna keep up with keep it on. And
Yeah.
21,
That hits.
and that's gonna be 15 damage. And then the scratch attack is gonna be a 16 to hit.
That misses.
Ooh, all right. So it gets a good bite in on you, which unfortunately I actually do need to also have you make a
great.
Constitution
Yeah.
saving throw.
Yep. That's gonna be a 21.
All right, you're feeling all right, actually.
Cool.
I mean, maybe not great, but
No, definitely not feeling great. No.
better than it could have been.
Feeling real rough, but alive.
That's all we ask. So next in the order is the other chupacabra. And it is going to roll against this snake. The first one is 18 to hit. They're both 18s to hit, actually.
They both hit.
So the first one is going to be 19 damage.
The snake crumbles into a staff and shatters. Slinky,
R.I.P.
no more.
All right.
Slinky did a lot of work. Slinky really got a lot done.
Right.
We will,
Avenge Slinky.
we'll remember.
Bye, buddy.
We'll remember Slinky.
Hey, Slinky, rest in pieces.
We'll go down in history.
Too soon.
Go live in a boot in the sky.
What's that all about?
All right. So that chupacabra is going to use. I think it needs to use a whole action to get up, so it's gonna lie on the ground and end its turn. So next in the order is Amity.
Already back to me. Okay, what I'm gonna do is cast
What
this.
you gonna do?
Well, I have my ideas, and they're just never right.
You've been chipping away at him. I don't think you've taken any damage either, which is quite impressive.
Oh, I haven't. My thing is that I just get really bad rolls and hide in the back, and it just all evens out for me personally.
Well, then you get to
Whatever
take all the
works.
credit, right?
Yeah, I'm like last man standing. It's to take the credit. Perfect.
Put Slinky in the graveyard. There you go, buddy.
Oh.
Why is that snake moving around? Oh no. Okay. 5. I think that is. No, it's Is that's 10 feet from the dog in red, right?
Yeah, it's about right.
About 10 feet from his little bottom. Okay, so what I am then going to do is go ahead and just raise up a hand, whisper something in Infernal, and just poison spray that dog's little sad bottom. Which is a con save of 15.
Poison spray isn't like any creatures within the cone, right?
No, it is not.
Okay. I gotta.
Hey, it's just Mal. It's fine.
Malin is
Just
one
a
hit
cleric.
point.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I have 4 hit points. Thank you
Oh,
very
sorry.
much.
Yeah, Mal will be fine. Don't
I'm
undercut
great.
them like that.
Sorry, what am I
Heal
rolling?
thyself.
Con.
Con, okay. That is going to be a 19. They're hardy little critters. Is it a all or nothing, or is it a half?
It's an all or nothing, right? Because it's just a cantrip.
It might be. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's an all or nothing.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to do?
I will just go ahead and stay right exactly there and just kick it.
All right, sounds good. Providing moral support, if you will.
Yeah, while crying about how bad I am at this game.
But remember, you get the glory. That's what matters, and the money. So,
That is
Don't
the
mount in
important
the
stuff.
process.
Yeah, thank you.
it's fine.
You didn't want it anyway.
Yeah, profit.
Claire, you're next.
All right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Break it harder.
Exactly. So this could potentially be really cool. My last 3rd level spell, I'm gonna do Dissonant Whispers. Need to make me a Wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Still disadvantage.
And I assume Bane is still active here.
Yep.
Okay. It rolled a 14.
That is the DC.
That's my hexed one, so it needs to be on disadvantage.
On Wisdom, you're right.
Ooh.
So it technically rolled a 12.
Then it fails.
Hey.
And
Love
it's
it.
gonna evoke a lot of opportunity attacks.
Yeah, that's-
Go teamwork.
Love to see it.
Mm-hmm. You really do.
18 points of psychic damage.
I know that it would be okay. Here's the thing, that actually does do it, but I do kind of love the energy of like everybody kind of doing this together if they would like to.
Please, yes,
Hell
please.
yeah.
Please. Yes, please.
So just I'm not even gonna have you guys roll. It's just everybody at the same time is just kind of like nope and converges on this chupacabra and takes care of it however you guys want to.
Bonk, 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 bonk.
Bonk. Flips it around, bonk it with the.
Everybody pulls out their wooden bonking sticks and just
Pistols.
Uses the shotgun as a bonking stick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's actually kind of dope to pull the pistol out and bonk it with the butt of the.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's definitely what Sylvie does. Yeah, whips it around.
Oh yeah.
You just hear Claire from the back. I think it's dead, guys.
Gotta make
Got
sure.
it. Good job.
it's being sent to D&D jail,
Go team.
aka the boot in the sky. All right. This red one was very thoroughly taken care of by some fantastic teamwork. So all we have left is this green one. And Claire, is that everything you had to do in your turn?
Yeah, that's all I got.
It was a cool last move.
Beautiful.
So Sylvie.
Great. I'm gonna just sidestep just a wee bit and take my 2 shots, and we're gonna use another grip point to get myself advantage on this first one. And that's a natural 20.
Oh
Yes.
heck yes.
To a wish.
Okay, oh, that's a good roll. Okay, is 34 points of damage.
Oh, I mean, how do you want to take care of that chupacabra? Because it is a toast.
I mean, like Claire said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right between the eyes again.
It's true enough. Just a
Shot.
dead-eye shot, right between the eyes. So you guys, a bit the worse for wear. come out of this fight triumphant, having taken care of all of the chupacabras in the area. At a glance, there are not any others. This is the group that was living here. You have successfully taken care of your task. However, as you are catching your breath, you hear a slow clapping from behind, a boulder, sort of over here, over sort of where this plant is. I'm not going to use the map anymore, but out from behind this boulder, well, first off, you see Amaranth swoop down from the sky. She has so far been watching you and not being at all helpful, but she swoops down to land on Vance's outstretched hand, and he finishes clapping for you guys, and he's like, well, I gotta say, you guys put on a mighty fine show.
Thanks for the help.
I think I'm the one who's supposed to be thanking you. And he flips over a hat that's in his hand and slides it onto his head over his horns.
Have you been here the whole time?
Well, not the whole time.
More importantly, did you know the cave was the place to go the whole time? Because we could have skipped that whole investigation and just come right here.
Oh no, see, that's the thing. I knew they were out here, but I didn't know where. And I'm not that much of a tracker.
So send the bait in first.
Why do your own work when you can pay someone else?
Speaking of,
Yeah.
Fair enough. And he'll pull a bag heavy with money out of his breast pocket and toss it over to Amity, who's closest.
Yeah, I would catch it, probably.
He's like, see, the thing is, Nikolai and I tried to come out here and take care of this ourselves a couple weeks ago. We caught him a couple miles north. Took care of most of the pack, but a couple of them got away with my favorite hat. And I do like this hat very much. So I figured, hey, there's some folks in town who might be able to take care of this. Seems I was right.
He has a nice hat. Really accentuates the horns. Do I get some of that loot?
That's between all of you. Well, if you don't need anything else, I'll be going.
Not a chance that you'd be able to help us get back at all.
You have horses, don't you?
Kind of looked at Amity. Most of us.
And I think you'll do just fine.
As long as Buster didn't get eaten, my heart is happy.
Can I whisper a message and send a sending to the sheriff?
Sure.
All right. I just wanna. I'm gonna real fast, like Mel covers his mouth and just goes, "Well, seems like your boy was making us do dirty work again. Mind tripping him up before he gets back to town, because we found him out here."
Is he able to reply, or is this just a
Reply.
Willow will, like, as to kind of help Mal with this, to distract him, will go up to Vance. Like, hey, Vance, pick a card.
Vance kind of gives Willow the, like, really kind
at
of
the same
look.
time, while he's looking at Willow, thunderclap.
Am I getting hit in this?
No,
Uh,
it's just me.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
just a loud noise,
it's like
and it's
audio, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're,
Cards go
nobody's 5. I would make sure
everywhere.
nobody's 5 feet near me when I did it.
like more than I actually had in my hands literally just go everywhere. It's just the entire 52 deck of cards. Just lines, hips of stuff.
Vance doesn't flinch, but this is enough for him not to notice what Mal is doing. Meanwhile, somewhere, let's say back in the sheriff's office at town, the sheriff laughs to himself, and he's like, all right, I'll take care of it.
Does not respond.
Yes. And Vance will take that moment to take a step back from the 52 card pickup that you've created for yourself, and kind of tip his hat a little bit, and he will disappear with a snap of his fingers.
Deep
All
sigh.
cards disappear.
Now that's an exit.
Does have style, I can give him that.
Gotta give him something.
All that for a hat.
Don't worry, I sent the sheriff after him before he gets back to town. Maybe you can pull him over for some traffic or something. Being out after dark, who knows?
I'm sure it'll
Oh,
stick.
without a warrant. No license for reporting into town.
Your horse driver's license?
Yeah, I'm sure a cell would hold him real well if he can do that kind of thing.
Well, it's gonna go over to like
Sure.
Sylvie and kind of like poke her, like, "How you holding up?
Ow.
You should probably sit down."
Oh,
I'm fine.
I can
Okay.
take care of it. Don't worry. And he will individually spend the rest of his spells healing everybody, patching up the wounds.
Of which there are many.
Yes,
Willow's
Yep.
good. She actually gained health during the fight.
Oh my god.
nice. He heals himself last. I guess we go get our horses.
Mm-hmm. Head on back to town, I suppose.
I'll hold
Hey,
out
gentlemen.
my hand for Amity to share my horse.
I would flick my tail like an angry cat and then take your hand and hop up. Then, cast some more cure wounds while I'm getting up.
Stop it.
Well, licking your many wounds, or at least some of you helping out other ones of you, you have successfully solved my Chupacabra puzzle.
Chupacabras!
Yay!
You head back. It's up to you whether you want to stop by the kitten farm and tell them that everything is taken care of or not. We don't need to RP it, but congratulations. Thank you, everybody.
Sylvie, you want to leave
Thank
town
you.
with me? More adventures?
No.
Further out west?
No, I don't.
Come on,
I will be
I want
leaving
to.
town by myself. Have a good day.
So much adventure card shows. I think the two of us together, we could be quite the racket. Think of all the fights. The bar fights.
I ain't sure about that one.
Wait, did
The
you
last
say
bar
something?
fight-
Did you say something about bar fights?
See, I am very good at starting fights. I just need someone to help.
Yeah,
with
you
punching.
are.
Please do not start fights in Steep's bar.
Yeah.
That is
And
a
you're no
lovely
good at taking
woman.
responsibility for them, neither.
So I'm
Well,
I'm
why?
really good at the punching things.
Hello. Would you like to
In-
set up a partnership?
In fact, I'm quite good at getting money for punching things.
Oh, even better. I'm quite good at getting people to start punching things. I just need someone to follow up on the follow through.
And I have enough money. If all of you keep the fighting outside, I'll buy all of you a drink inside the bar.
Vance
I'll
just said
take
I
it.
couldn't
But
play
if we
cards in
don't
town,
do it
so-
in the bar, then how am I gonna be able to like break bottles and?
What if we bring the bottles outside?
Okay, I suppose so.
Sure, the ground is gravelly enough that it'll
I mean, I
hit
got
rocks.
this really bad whiskey because I kind of didn't know where we're going. I figured maybe a Molotov would be a good idea. So
What way grab
Like
that?
the
Yeah.
way You think?
Well, if it's not for throwing, maybe it's for drinking on the way back.
well, no, I got the good stuff for drinking.
Oh, even better.
Plan for both avenues, I
two.
see.
Yeah.
Man,
And get a party ready for when we get back to town. Oh, hail the Chupacabra.
So you all ride into the night and back to the saloon, where Steep will, of course, serve you her finest apple juice, should you choose.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I guess we should do shoutouts. Normally, I'm the one who goes first. But since I'm the GM, what if I went last this time? So maybe in this case, Dr. Psych Owl should take my place.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
How's it feel?
Hi. I'm Dr. Psych Owl. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Except on Twitter, I'm Dr. Psych Owl TV. You can also find me on Twitch. Maybe ? Soon ?
Hey, yeah. Yeah.
Stay tuned. I'm still working on a bunch of like guns and stuff for charity things that there should be some updates very soon. But yeah.
Well, they're super tasty looking. They look real good. So next in the order, I believe, is Kyola Cosplay.
As always, I am Kyola Cosplay on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and that is where you can find me doing a whole lot of nothing. But I'll see y'all on Monday.
Because you're doing cool stuff with us.
Yeah.
We've kidnapped you.
Yeah, it's
We're holding
my
you
whole
hostage.
schedule. I am in your computer forever.
That's why Adaranth is named Adaranth. Vicious Frockery.
Ooh, that's me, at Vicious Froggery on the Twitter and the Instagram and sometimes the TikTok, which I should use. I make costumes and am making a lot of them right now, and also have photo shoots soon, which is cool. For the rest of the month, I am here, and I am the next DM for the next one shot. Next Thursday, we will be playing a college adventure in a totally normal school with totally normal humans. So I'm very excited for that.
And I will be dressed totally normal for that one too.
I will also be dressed totally normal for that one.
For sure.
Oh, wait, are we dressing up for that one? I got just the thing.
Shield Maiden.
Hello, I'm Natalie, your Shield Maiden cosplay, or Shield Maiden across all platforms. It's Shield with 2 eyes. I do costuming things and also art. I'm gonna have more of my pottery and ceramic art going on sale again this Saturday. There's updates on my socials, and then I'm also here all the time.
You're also living in our computer, yeah. we love all these friends who live in our computers. Badoni.
Hi, I'm Badoni Italic, or Badoni Cosplay, depending on where you find me. I'm doing this all month. Come back. Don't ever leave, because I can't ever leave. So, I love you.
And I am Dusty, or Elegant Feather Duster. You can find me as Elegant Feather Duster on places like Instagram, where I post mostly cosplay stuff. Here on Twitch, where I do a little bit of streaming that is both video games and also sometimes 3D modeling and art. I am Elegant Feather on Twitter. I do tweet semi-regularly. They just have a character limit. And I want to thank all you guys for being here. And I hope you guys had a good time. I'm stealing Jess's thing. She didn't tell us how many owls are in the trench coat, though. But thank you all for coming to our cowboy adventure. And let's finish off with how many owls are in the trench coat.
That would be 50.
Ooh.
A good number.
We're getting very close to a good number of owls.
We are.
It's already like a lot of owls.
So many owls. Okay, let me...
So thank you all also for donating. This whole month that we're doing all this stuff, we're donating to St. Jude's because they do super cool things and like taking care of kids and their families and doing all kinds of cool research and stuff. So if you can donate, please do. If you don't, just keep supporting us the way you already do, just by hanging out and social media and all that stuff. And we love you guys. And now we're gonna raid somebody probably.
We're gonna raid Captain Robert, because right now it's pretty much just Critical Role and then Captain Robert. So we're gonna raid Captain Robert.
Yes.
So yeah.
Stick around for the raid.
All right. and we love you.
And enjoy. We love you.
Okay. We love you.